Hey!
What?
It's classic movie banter.
Now dig on this.
Hey there,
Hello.
friends.
Watch out. It's a classic movie banter.
It is a classic movie banter. You know, that podcast where me, that dude Brenton, and that other dude over there, Nathan,
I'm here.
we talk about films that are 20 years or older. 20 years. And we tell you guys whether they're still worth... I'm going to get this right one day, guys. I swear to God. Like, I will get it right one day. So this is the show where we talk about films that are 20 years or older. 20 years. And we tell you guys whether they're still worth watching today or not. Like, if you did 200 episodes on the same movie and then reached the end of that 200 episodes and realized that you couldn't actually form an opinion on the film you just watched.
Oh no, Brenton. Well, thankfully we're only halfway there to that milestone because we've only done 100 movie reviews. Oh.
Hey, look at us go.
What an exciting time, Brenton. 2 years. 2 years we've been on there. Like, you know, despite government intervention and various protests, the show has not shut down.
Mate, what an anniversary. 105 episodes.
Yeah.
Oof. That's a number I think we can be proud of so far.
It is. We got more episodes than Dalmatians at Disney have, so it's a good time.
Precisely. Oh, Nathan. What are we doing today, though, to celebrate this milestone of classic movie banter?
Well, you know, we're here with the listeners. We got streamers all around the house. You know, the SWAT team, they're all on vacation. You know, the Band-Aid pile's been swept up. It's just holiday mode, Brenton, you know. We've reviewed the Mission Impossibles. We got our feet up. So last year when we did this, we gave the listeners like 52 movies to watch. we're like, you want movie reviews? Here's even more movie reviews. But I don't think it'd be fair to dump even more reviews on the listeners.
Personally, that is true. But personally, that was one of my favorite episodes we've done.
It was a good time. Was it because it featured Heavenly Willem Dafoe?
It did. It basically, that was the reason. I listened to that episode on a weekly basis just to hear his beautiful voice.
You just fast forward the bits with us and you just get to the interludes with him, right? Like,
yeah, mate, I've made a track. It's my alarm when I wake up in the mornings.
Of course. Oh, waking up with Willem. There's an app that needs to be made.
Yeah, I feel like we should pioneer this app.
We should.
Get some people on it.
Get on it, but...
Call some favors.
So today, what we thought we were going to do, like, we've been threatening to do this episode for a while, and what we want to do is that we want to look back over, like, the past 2 years, not as a clip show, we're not going to do a highlights reel, because to do that, Brenton, you need highlights in the first place, am I right?
You're exactly right, Nathan. Oh, why do we spend our free time doing this, Nathan? It's that's a question that I feel like our listeners
It's
should
either
answer.
that or chores, and frankly, I don't want to do the washing, Brenton, so it's this instead.
Fair enough.
So we're here. And so what we're going to do is that we're going to look back on all the movies we reviewed, and in 1 minute spurts, Brenton, we're going to update our review scores on each of the movies and let the listeners know, okay, we've reviewed so many now. Here's the ones that are good. Here's ones that are shit. We were wrong at the time. Here's actually what you got to do with this movie. So, you know, it's going to be a repartee, Brenton. Lots of back and forth, and it's going to be a good time.
Ooh, it sounds like a good time, Nathan.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And so I got so many sound bites from the original Spider-Man trilogy to help us along the way. So
Damn.
So we're gonna be strict.
Damn. How exciting!
I've got the timer ready, Brenton, and if we go over, I got a little taser ready to go. So you get zapped on my behalf.
Oh, so I'm getting zapped both times,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
You know what? That's
I
fair
didn't have
enough.
enough tasers for us both to be zapped in case we go over. So you do the short straw here.
I definitely did. I always draw the short straw.
Aw, listeners, send in your thoughts and prayers to Brenton.
Send me flowers. They're nice. All right, guys.
So here we go.
Here we go.
Okay, so Eddie Redmayne, we've opened up the cage. he's still adorned in his Jupiter ascending garb. Eddie, you ready to take us off? I presume so. He's just nodding blindly at us. So, all right, here we go, Brenton. 100 movie reviews. Let's
Here we
get
go.
into it. 3, 2, 1.
Rocky 1 was a film that we reviewed in episode number 1, and I said no, and Nathan said yes. Rocky 1 is a classic staple of the show because we reviewed 5 films in the Rocky franchise, and I kept saying no to this film. but I don't know why, so I'm actually going to change that so that we're both now saying yes. Unless you change that as well, but I think that this is a classic film. Sylvester Stallone gives a great performance. It's just a classic staple of cinema, and it's worth a watch in my opinion. What do you think,
I think
Nathan?
it's fantastic. I think you're absolutely on the money. Like, I said yes at the time, and I think it still stands up. In hindsight, obviously, we've reviewed 5 Rockies, and like they all got mixed results, but this one, it started it all. It's great. Like, even if you don't care about boxing, it just gets you into the mood. Shout out to Philly. I don't even remember if it's set in Philly, but shout out to Philly anyway. I think it's excellent, you know? Who doesn't love Adrian running a pet store and Paulie being a weird-ass drunk? It's a good time.
Oh, and raw eggs.
And raw eggs, so there we go. All right. Rocky 1, you've got our hearts. Animal House, episode 2. You said yes, I said no. And then after the previous 10, we both said no. So we're saying no to Animal House. It's just a weird comedy, isn't it, mate? It's just some weird...
It's a strange time, and it's a famous one, too.
Yeah.
So it's strange that it has this...
I think because of the toga thing. They're like, toga.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's got this following, and to be honest, I can't understand why. There's probably 2 jokes from this film I can actually remember. One that I didn't think was funny was, I'm a zit, get it, pop.
Oh, Jesus.
And the other one was the chainsaw joke with there was an animal or something in the office.
Oh my god, the dead horse that they just put in the principal's office.
Yeah, that was funny. But apart from that, I don't really know if this is still worth watching or relevant today, personally, so I'm going to keep my note.
Nah, I think the college movie's outdated. I think there's more updated shit you could watch. Look at the Jump Street movies. Oh, and by the way, listeners, spoilers for all these movies, probably.
I love how we always say the spoiler alert when we're well into the episode.
No.
But yeah, spoilers to all these movies.
Stop.
Not that we're spoiling much.
He stole that guy's pizza!
Princess Mononoke was episode 3. I said yes. Nathan said no. And then Nathan grew up and we both said yes.
I saw the light.
This is
because it's great.
Isn't
it so good?
Yeah, it is great. You saw that weird dear God thing, you know, and you saw the light. Nathan, this is obviously from Studio Ghibli. It's an amazing film. The animation is incredible. The English voice cast is actually really strong as
Christian
well.
Bell rocks up, I think.
No.
Oh, that's the other
no.
one. That's Howl's.
Yeah, that's Howl's Moving Castle. Settle
Christian
down,
Bell
Nathan.
should rock up, just as Christian Bale, frankly.
He definitely should. But yeah, this is a great film that incorporates lots of different themes into an accessible way, I think. The animation, like I said, is outstanding. And it's a great little tale with lots of different twists and turns that you don't necessarily see coming. So thumbs up from me.
Yeah, thumbs up from me too. It stands out as the Ghibli ones. I've seen a couple more since we reviewed it, and it's still one of the best. So, and also start with it. Great first film for Ghibli. So give it a watch. It's a good time. Jurassic Park. We both said yes, and we kept it the same because it's so good, Brenton. Dinosaurs on the loose. You know, bloody attacking Newman from Seinfeld. What more would you want? It's a good time. You know, I think what makes it stand out above the other Jurassic Park movies as well is that it really is trying to say something. You know, it really has that thematic depth that I think the sequels lack in that sense. Like I think the sequels are trying to just be, monster movies. So
yeah, I agree. I think this one set up the main theme, which is obviously man versus nature, and it really pulled through with it and explored some different ideas with that. And to me, it's still probably the best out of the franchise. I think it's similar to Rocky in the sense that it's a classic staple of cinema. I think
people are weird if you say you haven't seen it. You know, they're like, "What have you done?"
Yeah, exactly. And it holds up today. The effects are amazing still, in the sense of like it uses all those amazing animatronics and whatnot, and it's such a great time. What more could you ask from a classic movie?
Pizza time.
Spellbound was episode 5, and we both said yes, and we both continue to say yes because it is a classic Hitchcock film that not enough people talk about today.
We were spellbound.
We were spellbound by Spellbound. Nathan, this is a ride that took us all over the place. It was kind of a thriller, a psychological thriller to be specific, with some fantastic skiing scenes.
Oh, of course.
Who could forget those?
But also, like, who doesn't love an amnesia plot, Brenton? You know, that's staple of cinema and video games.
Exactly. But I think that this one pulls it off well. You know what I mean? Like, I know that that's kind of the stereotype and whatnot, but this does pull it off well. Again, it's got lots of twists and turns, but not only that, I think that the filmmaking is of such a high caliber that it's worth a rewatch. I've watched this since, and I was still taken by it then.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm the same. I'd recommend Spellbound. I don't make this your first Hitchcock. It's a little bit, you got to ease into it. Beautiful score, great acting. And yeah, man, if you want to go skiing, this G's you up like nothing else.
Oh, yeah.
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
West Side Story! We both said no. We stuck with our nose. And in hindsight, Brenton, you know what? This is going to sound very weird. I'm actually a little bit kinder to it in hindsight.
Really? In what sense?
I know how you feel, but I don't think it's good. I think this movie has a lot of issues. But like, I think the soundtrack has stuck with me, and I hum myself some of those tunes, from the time.
Yeah, for me, the best thing about this film is actually the soundtrack. It's actually the music, which I think is great. But for me, this storyline, it's got an unfortunate case that it's based on one of the greatest stories of all time, which is Romeo and Juliet. And I think that there's versions of this story that are done better than this film. So I don't actually know. For me, it's never really stood out, which is not necessarily its fault, but it is at the same time. I think I've seen heaps of people love this movie, and I just don't understand the absolute adoration of it, is my point.
I think both thumbs are still down?
Yeah, thumbs still down.
Same. Sorry, West. Get better.
Oh.
Emerald City, episode 4. Jesus Christ. Like, what more was there to say about this dumpster fire, Brenton, that we both said no to?
Well, we both said no to, and to be honest, dude, it's actually become quite a cult thing on the show that we always reference this film as the thing that kind of broke the camel's back to a certain extent. This was the first film that I think we both kind of hated to a certain degree.
Just because we knew the potential of what you could do about a story set in Sydney, about moving from Melbourne to Sydney?
Totally. And the unfortunate thing about that is that we're both Australian, and this was the first Australian film that we reviewed. So unfortunate timing. For me, it's still a no. I've never really thought about this film.
Poor Nicole Kidman being roped into this project.
Totally. I remember if there's anything that saved it, the screenplay, or because it's based on the play itself, was pretty good. So maybe you could see this as a play, but until then, mate, it's not worth watching this movie.
Nah, fuck it. Bloody drown in the river, Emerald City.
Peter.
Episode number 8 was Network, which we both said yes to. And Nathan, it's one of the best films we've ever reviewed on the podcast, I'd say. It's up there.
Easily. One of the highlights.
There's a caliber of film that we talk about on this show, and this was actually the first film that probably, I would say, entered that caliber of the films that we've reviewed.
Higher level.
The higher levels, and it kind of surpasses the technical aspects of filmmaking and goes into somewhere that is just so poignant, so awesome, and something that we both love. So definitely one of my favorites that we've reviewed on the show.
Oh, yeah. And it's so relevant.
Totally.
That's one of the best things I can say about it today in 2020. Jesus, people have to watch Network. Or go see the Broadway play, or just hear this story, because the hindsight for this film in the 70s to say what it's saying is just insane.
Absolutely.
The foresight.
Some of the best performances I think in the history of cinema are in this film. I think the ensemble is incredible. I think the filmmaking is incredible, and the screenplay is chef's kiss. Guys, watch it. What are you doing? Why are you listening to us? Watch Network.
Get out of here.
Don't tell Harry.
Bridge on the River Kwai. Brenton said yes, and I said no in our initial review, but then I, came to my senses and I said yes to Bridge to the River Kwai. This is not a film I think about a lot, Brenton, to be honest with you. I love that Alec Guinness is in it, bloody, taking orders about a bloody bridge and saying, man, being a war prisoner sucks, where's my lightsaber? But you know what? Looking back on it, it's a quiet kind of meditative tale on, on endurance, and I think that's worth celebrating.
I really like The Bridge over the River Kwai. I agree that it's not something I necessarily think about all the time, but I think it's a great movie, and every time I do think about it, because I have thought about it since we've reviewed it, I'm filled with fond memories, and I love the poster to this movie as well. It was the first poster I think I quoted that I could hang on my wall. It's a fantastic film, and if you want to watch a classic movie with some great performances and something of this era and this style, you can't go past it. I think it's a good choice to put on.
Leave me alone.
Rocky 2 was episode number 10. I said no, and Nathan said yes, and then we kept those same opinions, and I'm just flabbergasted as to why I said no.
You said no to Rocky 2?
And then I backed up my opinion with that I thought it was, I agree with that. Rocky 2 is probably up there with the best of the Rocky franchise. It's way better than the first one, so I'm saying it right now. I'm changing that to a yes. I can't understand why that was a no to begin with. It takes the relationship, one of the relationships I loved from the first film, which is the relationship between Apollo Creed and Rocky Balboa, and it takes that to the next level while still going deeper into the other relationships in Rocky's life, going deeper into Rocky as a character. And there's not much more you can ask for from a film.
No, it has a scene where Sylvester Stallone chases a chicken. What more could you want?
What more could you want? Oh, that chicken scene, Nathan. Oh, gets me in the mood for some chicken soup or something. You know what I mean?
Are they gonna run? Are they gonna be pies, Brenton? We'll have to find out.
We will find out eventually.
Give me rent.
Do the Right Thing, episode 11. We both said yes to the only Spike Lee film, sadly, we've done the podcast so far. so far.
Definitely, sadly. Yeah.
Yeah, and kept the scores the same. God, you know what? What a great insight as to like a community snapping. You know what I mean? And I feel like now in this troubling year that we've had, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting to see this community under the for radically different reasons, of course. But like to see this community kind of at the boiling point and seeing how they respond to it.
Yeah, totally. I think for me that this movie falls into that category of kind of like The Bridge over the River Kwai. It's something that when I think about it fondly, and I think about the messages of this movie, and I'm really taken by the characters. But I don't think about it often enough, I think. So it's kind of it's not necessarily my favorite film I've reviewed on the podcast, but I can't go past.
No, it's good, but it's not excellent in my opinion.
I can't really go past it though, in the sense of like of what this is trying to achieve. I think the themes it hits homes, and it's worth a watch without a doubt.
Samuel Jackson, keep on radioing.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door!
Episode number 12 was The Last Temptation of Christ, which we both said no, to at the time, and we stuck with that. Nathan, okay, here we go. This is my first controversial opinion of the show. I'm changing my my review to a yes.
No,
I think
no, Brenton.
I do think this is worth a watch.
Stop it, get out.
I do think this is worth a watch. I think this is getting at some interesting stuff when it comes to religion. Why? And hey, man, I know that this film has issues such as Harvey Keitel's
so
interesting
long.
performance as Judas. It's very long, but I was really taken by it, and I watched it again. I think I mentioned this on the show. I watched it again since then, and it changed my mind. I think it's worth a watch, and if it's something that interests you and you're a Scorsese fan, it's worth a watch, dude. And Willem Dafoe, mate, it's a great performance as well.
I don't think Brenton saw it again. I think like he just had a fever dream via divine intervention from like God himself to give a thumbs up to a Jesus film. No, don't do it. My thumb's still down.
I was incepted by Marty Scorsese himself.
Go away, temptation.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Blade! Oh my god. Oh, Blade. Oh my love. Episode 13. We both said yes because, it's just a good time, isn't it, Brenton? Oh, Blade. Oh, I love him. I love that we're getting a new one, and I love this old one exists.
Oh, see, you know what? I don't really need a new one because this one is just so good. I have such a fun time with this. It's kind of all over the place. It falls into that category of just like stupid, silly fun, and it just takes that to the next level. I love the action scenes in this. I love the interactions between the cheesy characters and the villains, especially, are just ridiculous.
Oh.
The climax of this is just so much fun and just so stupid and adult, and that's all I can say. It's a fun time.
A great movie to watch with your mates.
Absolutely.
Like Drunk Night with your mates. Perfect candidate.
Absolutely, yeah.
We haven't touched the sequels yet either, but hopefully we will and love them just as much.
Hopefully we will love them just as much because I am in love with Blade. Oh, what a legend.
Oh, stab me now.
Impressive. Your parents must be very proud.
Episode number 14 was Silence of the Lambs, which I said yes to and Nathan said no to, and then we stuck with those opinions. Nathan, this is one of the reviews on the show that I can't necessarily forgive you for, like your opinion on it. He
looks at me and he's like, shame.
Silence of the Lambs is just an instant classic. It is everything you could want for when it comes to cinema, especially thrillers. The performances in it are great, obviously, and they're very famous. Some famous scenes are in this. The screenplay is great, but also just the way it's made and the way this movie unfolds and the way it's edited keeps you on the edge of your seat, even if you've seen it before. And some of the scenes in this are just so memorable for various different reasons. There's everything in this movie, and I love it personally. It's one of my favorites. Nathan?
In hindsight, I'm an idiot. I'm giving this one a thumbs
mate,
up.
I'm so glad you came around finally.
Because you know what? I still think this movie is fine, but I still think you have to see it. And it's fine. Don't have high hopes, but it'll get you through the night.
Precisely, mate. I'm so happy.
I live with my aunt and uncle. They are proud.
Predator, episode 16. You said no and I said yes. Now, this is also a point of contention for me, buddy, because Predator, what a great time! It's bloody Arnold Schwarzenegger in a, Vietnamese forest, chewing up shop with an alien. Like, it's 80s action to the extreme, and it's so much fun!
Nathan, unfortunately, I can't actually change my opinion on this because I've never thought about this movie again, unfortunately. This is going for the same kind of feeling I think that Blade is going for, but I think Blade is such a better time. So for me personally, I've never thought about these characters again. I've never really thought about the monster of the Predator again, even though I think it's
me neither.
Even though I think it's a really cool design for a monster, and I can see why people were taken by it. But apart from that, look, I appreciate what it set up, but I just have no desire to watch it again, unfortunately. Sorry.
Oh, it's good. If you want cheesy action from the 80s and like good cheesy action with good choreography and like as a child, like put this on for a kid, even though they're probably not allowed to.
That bro handshake is like something else. Episode number 17 was Boogie Nights, a Paul Thomas Anderson film starring Mark Wahlberg and his appendage. We both said yes at the time, and we
like every other Mark Wahlberg Wahlberg film.
Exactly, and we stuck with the yeses. Nathan, this is a great film. It's featuring a fantastic haircut that we've often referenced on the show as well. Don Cheadle, what a still! But
it's the reason we do the still section.
I don't know
Cheadle.
necessarily if I think about this movie all the time, but at the same time, I can't really think there's movies like this. But I'm glad it exists, and I'd happily watch it again and still enjoy it just as much. But in saying that, it's probably not one of my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson films, but that's okay. I still think it's executed really well. Performances are great, screenplay's amazing, and it's a pretty good movie, and I can't really say no to watching it. So that's where I kind of stand.
Exactly. Every time you want to watch porn, just don't do it. Watch this instead. It'll be a better time.
Nathan, that is probably the best piece of advice you've ever given on the show. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you, I've peaked.
Stings, doesn't it?
Deliverance, episode 18. Brenton said yes, I said no, but then looking back, I changed it to a yes, so we both said yes to this movie. Who doesn't love canoeing down a river, Brenton, and then things just inevitably fuck up, like, in the worst way?
Yeah, man, this movie's great. I have fond memories of watching this movie. I think it has always held up.
It's slow. You gotta be patient.
Oh, yeah,
with
totally,
it.
but I think it holds up, and I think the way it builds that tension, and when things escalate, they really escalate, so it's worth it, you know? It earns its stripes of that pacing at the start, I think.
John Voight, what a great performance,
Yeah.
you know. Burt Reynolds, we all know a Burt Reynolds who goes in this trippy for some reason, thinks he can claim the land. Like, he's like, I'm trading for the wilderness, and then just gets fucked up immediately. Like, it's great.
Precisely, yeah. I definitely recommend this. Just know that it goes to dark places, but that's one of the best things about it as well.
Like this podcast, Brenton, we too go to dark places.
Oh, we do.
Oh no, Brenton, we're coming to a cliff. Look out, buddy.
Protected you in high school, now I'm gonna kick your little ass.
Episode 19 was Braveheart, which we both said no to, and we stuck with those opinions. Nathan, this was a hell of a... Like, I remember recording this episode more so than the film itself.
Oh my god.
My
it was
goodness.
such a
that
mission.
was such a mission to get that episode recorded. But hey, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the movie. The movie is very long.
Oh, so long.
It's so long. That's my first point on it. And I don't know if it really... obviously, this is quite a famous movie and, you know, was very well received. But for me, there's lots of other films that I think are worth watching over this. Lots of more historical epics, let's say.
Yeah, I feel like this story would be better told in like a BBC miniseries or something like that. Like, I don't need Mel Gibson's balls just flashing about in his bloody kilt.
No, look, I think this movie's got a lot in it, and you know, there's a lot of content. But for me,
like YouTube the speech.
Yeah, but for me, the quality is not always there personally, and I think there's better thing to watch.
It's like Brenton. Cats. Jesus, episode 20. We got it, listeners. Nothing more needs to be. We could just sit in silence for the next minute for fucking Cats. This is actually not the 2019 one. This is the stage show that they filmed for God knows whatever reason.
Nathan, I'm so glad we watched it though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so glad that
I'm not. I'm still angry we did this episode.
I'm so glad
Brenton.
that we both watched this and we both gave it a no, and we kind of discussed the misunderstanding or like the lack of understanding or knowledge of why this was made, and that discussion we had on the podcast. I think it was an important one to have, because if you love Cats the musical, I genuinely don't know what's wrong with you, but there is something wrong with you.
No, there is something wrong with you. Listeners, you should have seen the fucking grin on Brenton's face when he came into my home that day with the DVD ready, just like, oi, hey, we're gonna watch Cats.
But you know what? That's more of a reflection of me having someone who owns the Cats DVD.
Actually, yeah, you know what? Fuck you, Brenton. Not the movie, fuck you.
Look at little Goblin Jr.
Halloween was episode number 21, and we both said yes to it. Dude, before we were talking about Deliverance and the way to build tension, man, this movie does it so well.
One of the better examples of tension as well. Like, if you want tension in a movie, this is where you go.
Like, towards the end, it goes into kind of stupid fun territory at the same time, but it's always...
Yeah.
It always earns it almost, you know? Like those scenes at the start with with Mike kind of like standing and staring at people and just like being in a car at points and whatnot, and just like seeing things from his point of view. Like,
just really weird and creepy.
simply done, but has great effect. And so I remember you and I watching this together, and the way we were reacting to it. This is a great horror film to just sit down and watch. It holds up.
You and I were both like screaming on the couch, being like, whoa! Like, it's good fun. Also, not that scary.
No, like I'd love to watch this again. No. It's fun, it's creepy, it's good, and the climax is wonderful. So what more could you ask for?
She had her knives out.
Gonna cry.
21 was Before Sunrise, and we both liked it because we love Ethan Hawke just bloody waltzing about Europe, picking up women left, right, center. It's good, isn't it? It's probably the cutest movie we've probably reviewed. Like, it's probably the sweetest. in that sense. Like,
Yeah, it's like as a film, it's not like it's not really a piece of cinema that you're gonna go, oh, you got to go to the theater to see that. This is just a really nice, sweet time.
it's like it's raining outside. You got your girl with you, and you're like, oh, let's make out while we watch this
But
movie.
at the same
It's
time,
like,
at the same time, I think about this, and I think that in a lot of ways, this could have gone very wrong. Like, because it's so simply told. It's just two people
true.
that you have to like because you spend like basically a day with these two people, and if you didn't like them, the film would just fall on its face. So, props to the screenplay and props to the two actors and the chemistry and obviously the direction as well.
And to be honest with you, I'm just waiting for the fan edit with Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman.
I'm not, but hey, man, I'm happy for you if that's what you're after.
Make it George.
I don't feel well. I'm gonna go to sleep.
You Only Live Twice was episode number 23, and it was the beginning of the Bond fiasco, as I like to call it.
Yeah!
No, not yes, because we both said no to this movie, and we upheld those
didn't we?
opinions. This is the one where what's his face? Sean Connery was Bond, and he decided to become Japanese towards the end of this movie, and in
Christ.
one of the worst disguises ever. Nathan,
Oh my God.
that's all I basically remember about this movie, which is all I can really say about it. I remember watching this for like 2.5 hours or something, or it felt like that, and you and I were just both sitting there, and you and I were both just sitting there and kind of like mulling about watching this, and for me, it's the same issue with a lot of these, is that it's just kind of boring, it's dull in terms of its pacing, and drawn out, and you know what? The moments of action...
And
which
also racist or misogynistic or both.
Oh, totally. Those issues are just like the cherry on top. Like,
Oh, yeah.
but technically speaking, like the moments in it that like you have like a great fight or something, they're just undermined by all these other issues with it that and it's just not worth watching in my opinion.
You won't have a bite?
No thanks. Had a bite.
24 was The Exorcist, Brenton. Oh, speaking of good horror movies we've reviewed, we said yes and kept it up. Oh, Brenton. Oh, man. What a good time.
Mate,
Just
this
a
is-
good time The Exorcist is.
This is a great film.
Like
and you know what?
A-level filmmaking. One of
I
the
agree.
best.
Because at the time, like I think I said it was good, but my opinion's grown even more fonder with time. You know what I mean? On this one, I
Same.
think-
It's one of those things that really age well and you think about a lot.
and I can really understand why this was so significant when it came out. You know what I mean? Like I think people would have been really taken by this, and as I was. So I still think it holds up today. I still think it's horrifying in a very different way than something like Halloween. I think this is a lot more. It takes itself a lot more seriously, even though there is some very dark humor in there. But it's something that I think you could still watch today and still be have the same effect on you. So yeah, it holds up, mate, and I really endorse it.
Me too.
Change? Yeah. Big change.
Episode number 25 was Rocky 3, which we both said yes to and have upheld those opinions. Nathan, Rocky 3 was just, again, takes everything to the next level. I don't know if it's necessarily a better film than Rocky 2, but hey, man, Rocky 3 is just a wild, fun time.
Brenton, I have something to disclose. I think Rocky 3 is the best of the Rocky films we've reviewed.
I agree. It's my favorite, personally. Like, I think
It is my favorite too.
but like I said, I don't know if Rocky 2 is probably a better film, technically, but Rocky 3's got heart, man. It's so great. I love again, like, my favorite character in the Rocky series is actually Apollo Creed, so I just love getting to spend some more time with this
absolutely.
guy. This probably has my favorite montage segment out of all these films,
Oh my God.
personally. It's just
It's
incredible.
got Eye of the Tiger. It's got Mr. T in it. It's got an actual tiger in it at one point. Like, what more would you want?
It's beautiful. Nathan, Rocky 3 is definitely worth watching. Get amongst it, guys. I hope you enjoy it.
Well, hurry up!
The Land Before Fucking Time, episode 26. Brenton had a brain tumor that day, so he said yes, and I said no.
Yep.
And we kept it the same. Brenton, what are you doing? What are you doing on the show giving a thumbs up to Land Before Time?
I'm upholding my opinion, dude. I think it's worth watching.
No, don't, Brenton. It's no good. Why? Why is it still...
This is a classic in the sense of, I think this is a really cute movie. I think, like, for me, this is like a really cute movie with like enjoyable animations, enjoyable little characters that are just fun to follow, and a story that I think, especially young
They're
children,
all insufferable.
will get amongst. And I think, like, as an adult watching it, I was just really taken by it, and I thought it was really sweet and nice, and made me.
I literally wrote my will during this movie, Brenton.
Hey man, it made me feel like I had a heart, which was a nice feeling to have.
This movie made me want to cut out my own heart just to end it. Like- But
Will
then,
you
Brenton, I
happen-
couldn't find it because it wasn't there.
Oh,
I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of Leak time.
Episode number 27 was Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which we both gave a thumbs up to, and we both continued those opinions onward. Guys, this is a great movie. There's not much else I can really say about this. This is just so much fun.
It's like when you hear from like an old friend and you're like, I wonder how they're still going. You know, I hope they're still fucking up everything. Like,
I'm not sure I can really name many films like this one as well. That's kind of like a historic, epic period piece, you know, adventure film that doesn't take itself too seriously at the same time, isn't really a drama. It's just kind of a fun adventure, and yeah, I just really love this movie. I've always loved it, and I was glad when I watched it that it still held up. And yeah, it's probably one of my favorite episodes of the show too. I think we both just had such a fun time with this, and it brought out that kind of young adventurous spirit in us both, and we just loved it. Yeah.
Fuck me, they cleared it, Brenton.
What are you doing up there?
Staying away from you.
29 was twins. Oh my goodness. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito as twins. We both said yes because we had our senses that day, and we still do, Brenton. It's still a thumbs up, right?
Yeah, it's still a thumbs up from me too, but I can't actually imagine why it's a thumbs up. This is the most ridiculous premise, the most ridiculous film.
It's so
the most ridiculous characters, but like that's what makes it worth watching in a funny way. You know what I mean?
I can't believe this movie exists. It's just one of those movies you're like, how does this exist?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but the world is brighter because it exists.
Exactly. And for some reason, it still has merit in our books. You know, we don't just go, oh, that was a fun experiment that was just like a crashing car. You know, it just was like in flames.
No, the movie's trying to be something. And you know what? If you want to feel good, this is a great movie just to feel good to if you're feeling a little bit down.
Exactly. Yeah. It's that 80s.
It's like the perfect pick-me-up.
80s wholesome goodness is what I'd say.
Wholesome content all the way, Brenton.
Ooh, hashtag that.
That's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you?
Episode number 30 was The Prince of Egypt, which we both said yes to, and we both continued to say yes to. Nathan, this film, I don't know if it's not necessarily the best animation like ever made or whatever. People like hold it up to this really high standard that it's just this amazing movie. It's not necessarily that, but it's still really good and it's still worth watching.
To be honest, I find it fine. I find it okay. Yeah. I think it's good, but I think you can do a lot better with animation.
I think it's got heart as well. I think it's one of those movies that has heart. You can obviously the passion that's been behind this project, and that really comes through. For me personally, I love it because it's one of my favorite stories, the story of Exodus. So it was nice to see it done in this way, and I think it's a really solid telling of it. So yeah, I think kids would love this. I think families don't know this, but
Brenton actually recites the Exodus before every episode of the podcast.
I do. It takes us about 2 hours because I go into intricate detail.
Oh, jeez, Brenton. When will you ever stop?
Never.
You could have taken that guy apart. Now he's going to get away with my money.
31, Brenton, was our first Christmas episode, and we sat down around the fireplace to watch It's a Wonderful Life, which we both said yes to, Brenton. And I think especially for you, this is also in that ranking of one of the best we've done,
for me, this is one of my this has actually become one of my favorite films of all time. It's a Wonderful Life. I love this movie,
and I find it's good. I think it's good.
I don't know what more to say about it, to be honest. I just I've talked about it so many times on the podcast. I just love it so much. I think it's a story that's really important.
Just kiss already.
It's a story that people can relate to, and yeah, I will kiss. So Nathan, you take over while I just give this a switch.
Ooh, he's making it with It's a Wonderful Life, Brent. Listeners, how erotic for our 2-year anniversary. Oh, jeez.
Words we never thought would be uttered on this show, but anyway.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no. But yeah, no, it's honestly one of the best family movies. It makes you feel good, and it's now a wonderful life.
It certainly is, Nathan.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Oh, fuck, I'm always getting the bonds. This was episode number 32, which was on Her Majesty's Secret Service, which again, I said no to, and Nathan said yes to. And then Nathan came to his senses, and we both said no. Nathan, I can't even remember this movie from a bar of soap. I remember little aspects of it, maybe, because you had to remind me before we came into this so I could actually talk about it. Oh, yes. Nathan.
Look, it's the one with Diana Riggs in it, and I think that's why I liked it at the time.
She's probably one of the stronger Bond girls, to be fair, but continue.
She's great. You know, they're all in Switzerland with all those women in like the mountain, and they're trying to stick something in perfume or whatever it is. Like
all the films we've talked about so far, minus the Bonds, basically, there's something memorable that you can latch onto them, whether they're good or they're bad. You know, they stick out in my mind, those episodes. This doesn't stick out at all. You know what I mean? It's just nothing in the world.
Cheese!
34 was Thelma and Louise.
Off the cliff.
We both said yes to it. Off the cliff. Oh, Jesus, all right, there goes that ending. But honestly, like, the more I think about it, the more I love it. It's one of those movies for me personally, Brenton. Like, it's just, it's really interesting as a premise to see these two women kind of dive into crime and just see them like make so many incorrect decisions and then deal with those consequences on the spot. Like, I don't know, I think it's more intelligent than I think it looks on the surface.
Yeah, I agree, actually. It's one of those movies I don't know if I ever need to really watch this again.
But people should watch it at some point, right?
Yeah, I think that it's worth watching, and I have really fond memories of watching it, and I think it was well made. It had some great performances, and yeah, it's a great movie. So and it's obviously really famous, and it's got some famous moments in it that are actually hold up in the sense of like it earns those moments. So yeah, thumbs up from me for sure. Give it a watch.
Young Brad Pitt, get around it.
I surrender!
Episode number 35 was The Sixth Sense, which we both said yes to, and then we both continued to say yes 10 episodes later. Nathan, Sixth Sense is probably, I'm going to say it, it's M. Night Shyamalan's best movie, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, that's not saying much though. I mean, look at the body of work.
Saying a lot. But this to me, if you ever asked me on the street, if someone ran into me and was like, hey, it's Brendan from Classic Movie Banter, I'm like, hey, how do you know how I look? You're on the logo. Oh, right, cool, dude. I would, and they said to me, Brendan, I need like a thriller to watch, like a psychological thriller. This is the one I'd like instantly recommend.
This very second, quick.
I would reach into my pocket, as I always have it there, and I'd just take out the disc for The Sixth Sense and I'd give it to you and I'd say, hey, pop that in, that's on me, and I'd just walk off. You know what I mean? That is this movie.
In a puff of smoke.
That's how I feel about this movie. It's one of those in its genre that I think is just, it kind of does a lot really well. So I'd recommend it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think it's good. You know, not excellent, but good. But that's just me.
Oh, Nathan, that scene at the end, though.
Oh boy.
Raging Bull. Oh boy, 36. One of my favorite movies of all time. We both said yes to it. Still hold up. Yeah, obviously, I'm not changing my score. Like, now, Brenton, this is what a good Scorsese film looks like. So fuck off with your Last Temptation, because this is a tour de force.
Hey man, I think I agree. I think this is one of Scorsese's best. It's one of De Niro's best as well. It's one of Pesci's best. This is just everything was like, you know, hitting the right spot on all cylinders. So
it's like if Rocky was radically more intelligent.
Maybe, but mate, I think I'd rather be Rocky than this guy. Ooh.
Oh, jeez. That's a fight I'd want to see in the Battle Royale. Yeah, it's great. It's also a great, like, meditation on, like, excess and, like, you know, on domestic violence in the home and, like, and the corruption of a man. Like,
yeah.
It's fascinating.
Absolutely. Nathan, agree. It's a great movie. One of the best.
Well, beats taking the subway.
Episode 37 was The Castle, another Australian film that we decided to review. I said no, and Nathan said yes, and then we upheld those opinions, much to Nathan's disappointment, because he really loves this movie.
Even with my own mother on the show, Brenton still upheld that opinion.
She hates that I said no to The Castle, and mate, for me, it's still a no. I never really think about this. There's one joke in it that I kind of can see why it's quote worthy, which is the vibe of the thing, which I think is kind of funny. But apart from that, you know, I don't ever have the desire to watch this.
It's so iconic, Brenton, and like I understand, like. If you're Australian, you have to see this movie. It's not even like a you should. You have to.
But I'm Australian, and I don't feel any better from watching this movie. You know what I mean? I don't walk away and go, oh yeah, that's you know, I feel so Australian now. I walked away and went, oh.
You're scratching off your Southern Cross tattoo. It's like, oh, don't need this anymore.
Yeah, scratching it off is exactly what I'm doing. Hey guys, can we just come off? Tattoos, man.
Don't mind us. She just needs to use the elevator.
Bonnie and Clyde, episode 38. It's very similar to Thelma and Louise. We both said yes, because this movie is outstanding in my opinion. It's one of those ones I think more and more about, and I'm like, fuck, this is better than I thought it would be. What about you?
Yeah, I came into that episode and I wasn't really in the vibe to watch Bonnie and Clyde. Not that I really knew what to expect, but yeah, I was really taken by it. I watched
Faye Dunaway, man.
Oh man, like again, we didn't really talk about her in Network, but it's the second film that she was in that we reviewed, and every performance of hers I watch, I just think she's outstanding. She's probably one of my favorite actresses of all time. I just think I just think she's outstanding, and in this she's incredible. There was no Oscar, you know, controversy over this one yet, so you know that you know, it's very beloved, and you can see why.
They should have come out in the Oscars in their costumes from the movie, right?
Absolutely. They should have just done a scene live. Everyone would have liked that.
Well done.
You are useless, you.
Set him down, tough guy.
Episode number 39 was Annie Hall. I said no, Nathan said yes, and then for some reason I changed my opinion to yes. which I'm going to change it back to no, actually.
No!
Because
Brenton, stop it.
I'm going to. I'm changing it back to no. Like
We have it recorded on air because when I was listening back to this of you saying no, I was too harsh on it at the time, and I think about it more, and it's great. Those were your words, Brenton.
Yeah, that's fine, but I've thought about it even more, and it's gone back to no. Like I just don't really think about this movie that much. I don't really like it all that much either.
No, it's sweet. It's probably Woody Allen's one of his best works. It's what made him it was his landmark film, frankly. Oh, it's a great couple movie. Like it's such a truthful presentation of what a couple can be like. Like I don't know. I think it's still so relevant. I think if you're a young couple going through shit, like watch this.
I disagree. I think there's other movies I'd rather watch than this, and I don't think it's worth a watch. So, but I'm happy to disagree.
Speak of the devil!
All right, the Godfather trilogy. Here we go, episode 40. Godfather 1, we both said yes to. And I mean, come on. We're recommending The Godfather. What a novel sentence to say. But
How novel of us. Yeah. There's not much more to say about this. The performances are great. It's well made. The pacing's off, though, is the only thing I'd say about it. It's very long. But it's, for what it is in terms of what it's getting at, the style of movie, you can't really go past it. And it is a classic. So,
and it's also a good enclosed story. Like, it really says a lot.
Totally. I agree.
Yeah, and boy, the wedding in this movie, I tell you what, I want to invite to that party, Brenton.
Mate, that wedding looked lit, man. I hope my wedding is a third as good as that wedding. You know what I mean?
And also as violent, Brenton.
Ooh.
Oh no. Get away from me, Marlon Brando. Not now.
Get your cotton out of your cheeks, boy.
Spider-Man! I knew you two were in this together!
So continuing the trilogy, episode number 40 was also The Godfather Part 2, which I said yes to and Nathan said no to, and we stuck with those opinions. Nathan, I think this is a good movie, and I think it's one of the greatest sequels ever made. I think it's as good as the first movie, and it has the same kind of issues, I think, as the first film, but in a lot of ways, I like the story that the second film is telling as well. I like that we're in two different time zones.
It's so unnecessarily convoluted, though.
Yeah, it's convoluted, but I was taken by it, and I was still able to follow along with what was going on. And I think it's some of De Niro's best work. I think it's Pacino's I think it's Pacino's best performance in these three films actually was in this one. So
yeah, probably. But I wanted a better story, Brenton, and like I don't know, I don't feel like the flashbacks added that much to it, and like just rewatch Godfather 1 in my opinion.
Oh really? Yeah, I think they're a double bill, and I think it's worth watching both. Maybe not at the same time though, because I watched all these back to back.
Not the way we did it.
Oh, that was a time.
Hey, kiddo, let mom and dad talk for a minute, will you?
Which also took us to The Godfather 3, Brenton. And, oh my God. Sofia Coppola, what are you doing here? Like,
yeah, look.
Go back to making Lost in Translation.
Look, you know what? In a lot of ways, it's probably not far off the other two, I think.
Yeah, it's not that much worse.
Yeah,
like,
but at the same time, for a third installment, it's just unnecessary and it's a drag.
It's like Brenton.
No retort to that. I'd never watch this again, to be honest. So,
oh God, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are some very funny scenes I have watched on YouTube since, where Sofia Coppola, spoiler alert for this movie, she has a big scene, and oh boy, is it great on rewatch.
Big is an understatement, Nathan.
Oh, actually, also the ending of this movie I've watched again on YouTube because it's so funny.
I've actually watched the end of this movie on YouTube as well. I think it was a week after we reviewed it, actually. Funny. I was like, I need to watch that again. What the fuck?
Oh, jeez.
Not coming back, Chief.
Episode number 42 was Breakfast at Tiffany's, which we both said yes to and upheld those opinions. Nathan, this is a great film. This is so wonderful. I love this movie.
Iconic.
I was actually thinking about it a couple of days ago. And dude, I think...
I'm sure it's thinking about you too, Brenton.
Oh, I'm sure it is. And it's just fantastic. I love this movie. I love the setting. I love the characters. I love the journey we go on. There's one thing I really don't love, which was just so...
What don't you love about this movie,
Which was so
Brenton?
unnecessary, which was so annoying that could have just been so easily removed.
What possible element?
Mickey Rooney is just a disaster in this movie. It's disaster walking. But, honestly, I want someone to do... It probably exists, but I want a fan edit where he's just removed from the film, and I think would be an absolute masterpiece.
Audrey Hepburn, there's a reason the poster's iconic, because, what an amazing performance, Very similar, actually, to Liza Minnelli as well in Cabaret. Yeah. That kind of woman, cutting it through. Also a great catch, Brenton.
Oh, mate, the climax of this movie with the cat. Oh, it got me in the heart. Oh.
What about my generous proposal?
So continuing our breakfast trend, we also did the Breakfast Club, Brenton. Oh, Breakfast Club, how you me. Brenton said yes, and I said no. We kept the scores the same. Brenton, are you changing this?
No, I love this movie.
Oh, why are we even doing this? I don't want to talk about Breakfast Club.
Why don't you like it?
You just watch 6 teenagers complain for 2 fucking hours just about cliche adolescent shit. I have no patience for it, Brenton. You know what I mean?
Well, for me, I love cliche adolescent shit, so I got...
He goes through it every day. It's just a reflection on him.
No, I do like this movie. I really like the characters in this film. I like kind of the journey they go on. I think it's a fun time, and it's a classic, dude. Like I always feel good watching this.
I know it's a classic.
And it took me a while to watch it, to be honest. But when I sat down and I finally watched it, it didn't let me down. So I walked away with something from this film. And we disagree,
Yeah,
but
I did too.
I think it's worth a watch at the end of the day, though.
Are you in or are you out?
It's you who's out, Gobby.
Episode number 44 was a double bill as well when we went over some old Disney animations, and we decided to review Walt Disney's favorite animation, which was Bambi, which we both said no to, and we upheld those opinions.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I've got nothing to say. It's just
I guess let's just sit in silence and just breathe, you know?
I can appreciate it for what it was at the time, but I've no desire to ever watch this again.
No, it's so weird. I remember watching this at home, and my housemate walked in on me watching this, and they're like, "Why the fuck are you watching Bambi?" Like, that was literally the words they said, and I honestly didn't have a good answer for them, Brenton.
Question: would you watch the inevitable remake?
Oh, jeez, it's the live action one. I mean, they can only improve it from here, Brenton, so maybe.
Well, I'd rather just go out and shoot a deer myself. which I don't want to do anyway, so because I imagine it'd be horrific, but I'd rather do that than watch the remake, so I won't be watching it.
Oh, jeez. It was Brenton all along, listeners.
Yeah, I was the man.
Wrong answer!
And so the other half of episode 44 was Fox and the Hound.
I can't believe I said that.
Brenton
Fuck
said
me.
yes, and I said no. Yeah, why the fuck did you say yes to Fox and the Hound, Brenton?
No, I'm saying I can't believe I said that about shooting a deer. But anyway, I agree that
Oh, right.
I agree with my yes to Fox and the Hound. This movie is a
Oh,
classic. I love this movie, dude.
the grandma, I remember her being amazing. Like
Oh.
she melts the heart.
Dude, there's a few heart-stopping scenes in this film. It's great. It's worth a watch. Like I just
Actually, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna put my thumbs up.
dude,
for this,
it's
Brenton.
amazing. Like
I'm changing it. Watch Fox and the Hound.
I love
What a
this
good
dude.
time.
Like the relationship between the fox and the hound and their friendship as it grows on, the way this fox as it matures and it grows up and it has to face the many things that it faces in life as being like an outsider or being viewed as like as kind of a plague on the farm society. Like it's just beautiful. And I love like how it grows up. I love the relationships with the girlfriend and whatnot. I like the birds in this movie. Nathan, it's just a fucking fun time. Oh, Fox and the Hound. What a classic.
How'd you do that?
Work out, plenty of rest, eat your green vegetables.
Episode number 45 was The Matrix, which we both said yes to and kept those opinions. Dude, this is a classic if I ever saw one. This is
one of the most classic films ever.
Oh
right?
man, this is just the era that it came out on. The era it came out in, it just totally represents, man. Oh, dude, the way that like the action unfolds in this movie, the way that it informs the characters in this movie, like there's nothing like before this movie came out, there was like nothing like it, and there's been so many clones of the Matrix and the style of the Matrix. You know what I mean? But nothing has done
even
it.
within the Matrix franchise itself.
Exactly, but nothing did it better than the original, and I love this movie, dude. I love the journey we go on. I like that all the cool ideas that are introduced that we explore about humanity and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I'm my thumbs were still up all the way. I'd watch this again for sure.
Same. I'd watch it again too. 46. We're at Mad Max, Brenton. We're coming back to the Australian movies. And we both said yes to it and kept it the same.
Oh, look, dude, I'm keeping my thumbs up because I think this was the first Australian film that we reviewed that I genuinely love. I love this movie. I think it's great.
To be honest with you, I don't think I do.
Okay.
I think looking back, I might actually say no to the first Mad Max because I feel like you can watch the second one, which is dramatically better without context for the first, and still have a great time with it. So
I think the first one's still doing things that the others don't. So I think it's still worth a watch in its own right.
Yeah,
and,
you're not wrong.
And I appreciate this. I appreciate this movie, and I respect this movie a lot for what they went through to make it. Not that I know that really counts for anything in terms of the final product.
Also, Goose. So
Yeah, I think the final product is good enough, and it stands up on its own 2 feet, so to speak.
oh, well done. Well, good on you, Max. Keep on running over those pedestrians.
Here's your change!
48 or Oh, no, sorry. Episode 47 we're up to was actually Happy Gilmore, which I said yes to and you said no to, and then we kept those same thoughts.
Yeah.
Nathan, out of all the Adam Sandler comedies, this is for sure my favorite. I love Happy Gilmore.
But again,
I've
it's
always
not
loved
a
it.
great body of work, Brenton.
Oh, mate, this one, I actually think this is a classic in its own right. I think it still gives me the laughs. I still have laughs at some of the points in this movie. I think it's a ridiculous premise. I love its take on golf and what it's saying about golf and whatnot, and trying to make golf exciting, and then comparing golf to ice hockey. It's just ridiculous. And obviously Apollo Creed makes a cameo as well. So
yeah, and Jaws is in this, our favorite.
Exactly. So I feel like we were meant to review this.
We
movie,
were meant
Nathan.
to do it. In saying that, though, I couldn't recommend this to any mates. Like, it's just, don't watch Happy Gilmore. Like, you can laugh at other things.
I think this is the perfect movie to watch with your mates. So yeah, we agree to disagree.
You're getting on my nerves.
I have a knack for that.
48 is My Fair Lady, and oh boy was she fair, because we both said yes, Brenton.
We did.
This is an interesting time. This movie, I think it's gotten better in hindsight for me personally. Has that done the same for you?
Yeah, but I don't really think about it much, to be honest. Like, it's not one that I've thought back on really that fondly or whatever. So, like, I'm going to keep my thumb up because I think it's still worth a watch. I think when you watch it, you'll still have a fine enough time. But,
yeah.
it has really... It's not my favorite thing we've done.
No, and, like, I like Audrey in it, but, like, I don't know. Like, it's good. I think you should still watch it for the English lessons alone, because oh boy, will improve your English, apparently. But I just think it's really funny to see this film kind of fuck up what it's trying to say about class when she goes to the races and that kind of stuff. Like, I think that alone is worth the price of admission.
Totally. Yeah, look, I think this is worth a watch, like I said, but I don't think you'll necessarily walk away going, My Fair Lady, oh, that's, the best musical ever made. You're not gonna walk away with that feeling.
Oh, thank you. Oh, have I been wrong about you?
We sure showed him.
What do you mean, we?
Guys, why do I keep getting
You keep
these?
getting the bonds. It's great.
Episode 1, number 49 was The Spy Who Loved Me, which we both said yes to, and then we both upheld those opinions, and I'm changing my opinion to a no for this one.
Brenton,
no, I am.
This is the one with Jaws. You
Apart from
can't
the
say
fact
no
that
to Jaws.
Okay, come on. Apart from the fact that this is Jaws, it has Jaws in it, what else in it do I remember?
It's got that great underwater layer. They go to Atlantis.
I'm sorry, but I don't care. Again, I don't even remember watching it. Really, I just remember that there was a big guy called Jaws in it with funny.
Remember they
teeth.
go to Egypt at one point and it's like chasing Bond about like.
I can't remember, to be honest, dude. So yeah, like I gotta say no. Like again, these movies.
I can't believe you're saying no to Jaws, Brenton. Oh, come on, have a heart.
I'm not saying no to Jaws. I'm saying no to The Spy Who Loved Me.
Oh, well, no, I'm still supporting our favorite henchman, and it's a good movie. It was fun. I had fun with this one. Love you, Bond.
Nah.
Episode 50. Brenton, we're halfway there, and we arrive at Rocky 4, which you said yes to, and I said no to. Because, Brenton, this is a mess of a Rocky film, isn't it?
It truly is, but it has some damn fine highlights, which kind of like saw me through the film, to be honest. Like the jacket, the robot, you know what I mean? Like all the beard, the training scene in the snow in Russia.
I'm changing it. I'm gonna give my thumb up to Rocky 4.
Dude, how much fun is this movie?
Rocky
it's just
4's
ridiculous.
Great.
It's stupid fun. Again, like it doesn't really upkeep the excellence that the series kind of strived for towards this point. But at this point, the series just decides to have fun and just go stupid and throw.
Yeah, which I do kind of lament because I think the three were trying to actually say something, but I think also knowing how shit 5 is, I think has made me be kinder on 4. You know what I mean?
Sure, but that jacket, man. What an inspiration.
My back. Oh, my back.
Episode number 51 was Pokemon, the first movie, which we both said no to and kept those opinions. Yeah, dude, I'm saying no to this. Like, I love Pokemon. I love all the Pokemons. I love the games.
He rocked up with all the merch today, listeners.
Yeah, dude. Like, all my Pokemons are just sitting here with me. No, look, this movie as a film, though, it just isn't really doing anything. The plot is kind of paper thin. It doesn't really have anything. It could have something interesting to say, maybe, but it doesn't really go anywhere with it.
No, it tries to, but I think it kind of falls on its face a lot with it.
Yeah, no, it basically tries to rely on the fact of the nostalgia bait of Pokemon, and those characters are like your friends that you've kind of formed through other mediums. But if you watch this on alone and you didn't actually know anything about Pokemon, you'd just be like, what the fuck, man?
What the fuck are these animals? Why are they enslaved and they're getting them to battle each other?
Truly, dude, truly.
That's messed up.
Pika pika.
hate those things.
52 takes us to King Kong. Not the Percy Jackson one, Jesus. Not the Peter Jackson one. Although I'd love to see a Percy Jackson King Kong movie. That sounds amazing. But this is from the 30s. And we both said yes to it. I don't know why, Brenton. I think I'm going to switch it to a no.
I was actually thinking of doing the same thing, but I'm going to keep it as a yes because I think it's worth a watch.
Why?
Because I think, like, when you look at this and what it's going for the time it was made in, there's something that's worth appreciating here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd necessarily watch it with mates on a Thursday night and have a good time,
No.
but I still think it's worth a watch to see a piece of cinema that was doing something interesting with, like, the monster genre. Because, like, I don't love the monster genre personally, but I kind of like this, so I'm going to keep my thumb up.
It does some interesting things, but honestly, like, yeah, I can't see myself recommending this to mates. Like, it's so stupid, that gorilla suit. Jesus, like...
Mate, that cheeky Kong grin.
Oh my God, no.
I'm the new guy. New guy? Okay.
Episode number 55 was Top Gun, which we both said no to, and we both continued to say no to. Now, this is the first film, aside from the Bonds, that I can't really remember much about it. I just remember the cheesy music, and that's about it. Like,
it's just people jerking off Tom Cruise for 2 hours. Like, it's just, it's no good. Like, I don't know why it's revered as well. I guess in the 80s, like, it was such a of its time kind of thing. Like, maybe if you were in the 80s, like, maybe all the cocaine at the time would have fueled your love for it.
But honestly, dude, like, the other films we've reviewed from the 80s, like, I've loved so much more than this.
Same!
This movie for me doesn't really have that much of an identity, you know what I mean? Like,
no.
I mean, the big conflict is, I guess, is Goose dies and Mavericks, you know, wants to be the very best, I guess. So
the best that ever was.
To catch them all is his cause. Pokemon.
Oh, Tom Cruise, do a Pokemon movie.
They love me.
56, Brenton. Jesus Christ.
Oh, wow.
We did Babe.
Wow.
We did Babe, Brenton, and we said yes to the first Babe, which I stand by, actually.
I stand by that too. No movie has ever done what this movie did, Nathan, in terms of the way it was made, what it tackled, and the way it tackled it. I think this is a great film that should be revered, you know?
And really smart.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no one really talks about Babe anymore.
I know.
I remember
what
at
a
the
shame.
time, people were all amongst Babe, but nowadays, not so much. I think it's worth another watch, guys.
Yeah.
Get amongst it.
Like what it says about the way animals are treated, and like it actually goes to some dark places, and I think I respect the film more for it. Like it has that thing where it bills itself as children's entertainment, and it is, but like it does something more than that, and I think it changes the perception of it. I still fucking hate those mice that are like the segues between each scene.
Oh yeah, we could do without those. We could definitely do without
But Brenton,
those.
I think I know the reason why people don't talk about Babe anymore. You want to know what it is?
Nathan, could it possibly be episode number 56 from which we reviewed Babe 2 Pig in the City and we both said no to it?
I think it is, Brenton. I think that's exactly why.
What the fuck is this movie?
What is this movie?
It's like George Miller got greenlit for another Mad Max film, but he thought... he got greenlit for another Babe film, but he thought he was making a Mad Max film. And then in the end, he realized that he had to swap back to a Babe film, but he had the screenplay and the storyboards for a Mad Max film, and that's what we ended up with. This is nuts.
This is the most... I think this is one of the most bonkers movie we've ever reviewed on the show.
Oh, gosh. I mean, good on you for trying something different, George, but Jesus
It's
Christ.
it's just like an acid trip, like pipe dream that I just don't understand what this movie is about, and it's so fucking weird. I'm grateful for it that we built a cinematic universe around it, that we've now made our own little Babe universe. But apart from that, don't go anywhere near this movie. I think it's actually dangerous for children, Brenton.
Shazam!
Which leads us into 57. Speaking of dangerous, Leaving Las Vegas, which we both said yes to.
Mate. I think this is a great movie. This is a great movie.
This is one of the better ones.
It's a solid indie drama with a great performance from Nicolas Cage that is covering some content that, you know, I don't think it's ever this content's ever really been covered.
It's a good take on alcoholism. Like it really is,
dude. I really liked this movie. I really dug this movie. I haven't watched it again since, but I want to, dude.
Same.
I really want to get back into it.
I mean, we watch a lot of movies for our living, so like it's hard to rewatch stuff. But like,
absolutely.
But this is one of the better. This really, out of all 100, this is really one of the better ones. I think. Like it's hard to fault. Like, it's really smart in what it does. And I think it's also important. I think it's one of those films you should watch. Like, just for the...
Agreed.
Just for a really good story that I think imparts some good lessons.
Yeah, agreed, mate. Leaving Las Vegas surprised me, and it was a happy surprise.
We're not leaving Vegas anytime soon, are we?
Go ahead, lay one on me.
Really?
Yeah, they'll love it.
Episode number 58 was Escape from New York, which we both said yes to. I'm changing mine to a no.
What? What are you doing? thing.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm changing it to a no.
Brenton, what a plot twist. What a stab in the back.
This is one of those films I just don't really remember.
Are you
kind of
kidding?
was like again, like for me, I just walk away from this and I don't feel much. I don't remember much, and I'm not that fond of it, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to say no to Escape from New York. But Nathan, you're a big fan, so you tell us all the reasons why Escape from New York is awesome.
Oh, listeners, I don't know why Brenton's just. Oh, I'm all nervous now. I'm all shaking in my boots. I don't know what's going on, but
dude, you love it. Tell us all why you love
good.
it. It's great.
It's Kurt Russell. For some reason, the entire city of New York is like this like post-apocalyptic prison, and you just watch Kurt Russell running about through it, trying to find the president of the United States that's been kidnapped inside it. It's one of the best movies ever made, Brenton. It's so much fun. This should have been a franchise. Go watch it now.
Jigs up, pal.
The next movie we're reviewing is number 59, which was Seven Samurai, which I said yes to and you said no to, and then we upheld those opinions. Nathan, this is such a great film. This is such an awesome film that everyone, I think, should watch at some stage and just appreciate what this thing's going for. And it does this storyline, which everything stole from. Everyone was like, let's do a Seven Samurai
like literally
set in
everything.
the West. Let's do it. Let's do it, like, do this storyline in every single way. But I think this one does it the best, and I love this movie.
Yeah, and like I acknowledge I'm in the real minority here when it comes to people who aren't a fan of this movie. But I think the biggest reason for me is just it's so long. Like, it is unbearably long. And like, you know, we had a fun time watching this in my house, Brenton. You know, the fire truck came, we had a good adventure. But like, at the end of the day, I just can't recommend this to people. It's too long. There's too much going on in it. It needed to be much more simpler. And I think also because I've seen it imitated so much, they've done it better.
I don't have time.
I don't want to hurt you. Leave now.
I guess you haven't heard. I'm the sheriff around these parts.
Okay.
Episode number 60 was American Pie, which I said no to, and you said yes to, and then we kept the same opinions, and I'm keeping my no. Like, no way. No way to
good.
American Pie.
Now, this is a classic, Brenton.
Is it?
This is a verified classic.
Is it?
Right, American Pie. It's funny. You were laughing a lot in this movie, weren't you? You were laughing a fair bit.
I remember some jokes, like, there was jokes in there that are classics that everyone kind of knows.
Remember when he drinks the sperm in the beer?
Oh, yuck. I forgot about that. Oh. Yeah, no, not for me. Not for me at the end of the day. I'd watch this. I'd honestly watch it again if everyone else was watching it, and I'd just sit there and kind of wonder why we were watching it, to be honest.
That's what Samurai needed. It needed some American Pie, didn't it?
Where do all these guys come from?
Brenton, what the fuck is this movie roster? Like what have we chosen some weeks?
What are we doing?
Because 61 was Inspector Gadget.
Oh, gosh.
We watched Inspector Gadget, and to no one's surprise, we said no. Like, what is this movie?
I'm not too sure what Inspector Gadget was going for, what was trying for, or what market we were really going for, to be honest, with Inspector Gadget starring Matthew Broderick. But, you know, as much as I said no to it, there's still moments in this that I kind of laugh and I enjoy it, and I enjoy laughing at this movie and what it was. And I remember having fond memories of it as a kid and thinking it was cool for some reason. But, I mean, yeah, it's not a great movie, so I'm going to keep my no. But if you want to laugh at something, you might want to pop it on.
Oh, don't even pop it on. Just like YouTube a single scene. It's like, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Where
sure.
where is it? The scientist gets his nuts grabbed or something like that.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Oh god.
Jesus.
Oh, this movie.
This is something else.
License to Kill was another Bond episode that we did on episode number 62, and we both said no to it. This was Timothy Dalton as Bond. I remember that.
Yeah.
And I remember liking him, but again, it couldn't overcome my vitriol for this franchise, and I again said no, so I'm going to stick with that.
I think this was the real turning point where you were just like, I'm done with this franchise. Like, I don't know how many more of these I can do.
I think this one did me too, because I really liked him as Bond and I liked what he was going for, and the film just wasn't up to it, you know what I mean? So I think that's why it pissed me off so much. So yeah, look, it's not worth watching, again, for similar reasons, but it could have been worth watching, and that's why I think I don't like it even more. Benicio del Toro, you know what I mean? He's in this causing a ruckus, you know what I mean?
He's always causing ruckuses. Nah, give it a pass. You know, not magnificent. Magnificent!
Whoa. Buddy, love the new outfit. This is exactly what I need to scoop partner.
Which segues us onto a much better movie, Brenton. Episode 63, Pulp Fiction, we gave thumbs up to.
Woo! Ooh.
Yeah, Tarantino. I mean, could you ask for a more iconic film? I mean, literally every scene in this movie is iconic.
Dude, like, what more is there to say about this? You don't need to hear from us that you should watch Pulp Fiction. Just go watch it and let's have a fun discussion about it. This movie's great. I don't know if it's my favorite Tarantino, to be perfectly honest. A lot of people are like, this is the staple Tarantino, and that might be so because it's kind of implementing all of his Tarantino-isms into one
it's
movie,
what really brought him
I mean?
into the world in that kind of sense. Like, well, I agree, it's not my favorite Tarantino. I think he's done better work. But yeah, I think it's hard to not see this movie. Like, there's just too much of it in pop culture. Like,
the dialogue, the characters are just outstanding, and yeah, it's a great movie. So give it a watch if you haven't already.
Yeah, I know.
And if you have already, give it another watch. Why not?
Watch it again. That's in order.
Give me some of that web action. See you, chump.
Episode number 64 was Two Hands, which was another Australian film starring Heath Ledger, which we both said yes to. And I'm still going to say yes to this because even though it does have issues, even though that subplot with the dead brother being the ghost that's the narrator,
if
you got rid of that, it'd be way better. But aside from that, it's a great film. Heath Ledger's awesome in it. Rose Byrne rocks up and is kind of a weird, wacky performance.
She's so weird in this movie, but I love it.
Oh, it's great. But like as a film, like it's a really interesting movie actually. Like it kind of
it's got a great premise. It's actually weirdly simple for what it is. Like,
totally, it's got some darkly comedic moments which I really enjoy, such as a bank robbery scene, which was a real highlight of the film. And yeah, I think it's a really worth a watch, and it's got a lot of heart, and it's hard to put in a box, this movie, so I like it for that as well.
It features the Sydney monorail, automatically 5 stars.
Good riddance.
Which leads us on to 65, Brenton, the court jester.
Woo!
Jesus, you said yes and I said no, Brenton, and I wonder why. It's no good.
Oh, come on, man. Like, this is worth a watch. Like, this is a movie that not many people know about, but like, in terms of its genre, in terms of what it is, if you want a film that's like kind of in that musical comedy like genre, like from like way back when, this is something I don't think you can look past. It is so.
It's from a bygone era. This movie.
It totally is, and it's one of my personal favorites now. Actually, not in terms of films of all time, but things like from this style and from this point in history. I think it's really worth a watch.
It's like pantomime. It's like pantomime on film, and if you love panto, then you'll love it, and if you don't, you'll hate it.
Exactly. So all my British listeners, get amongst it. I think you're gonna really get into it.
What does he say? What's all the stupid lyrics? All of them. They're a good time.
Oh, dude, like all the tongue twisters with the poison in the pellet of... Yeah, it's just good times.
Listen, it's a free country. It's not rent-free country.
Number 66 was North by Northwest, which we both said yes to.
Oh, boy.
Dude, it's a great movie. It's a fantastic film, actually.
Yeah. Actually, one of the really better ones we've done on the show. The more I think about it, the more genius I think it is.
For sure, mate. You know, that scene in the auction where he goes off.
Oh, my God.
What a great performance, dude. Like, I just really love this. And I've watched it again since. And when I watched it again, I was enjoying it just as much, even though I knew, like, obviously what happens and where it goes. But yeah, man. What a time.
It's so good. It's just a great adventure movie. He's just traveling around the United States. You know, he gets chased by a planet by one point. Like, if you just want a good adventure, like kind of like Indiana Jones, but a little bit more like spy-esque, like that's kind of what you get here.
Totally. And it doesn't take itself too seriously in places as well, but at the same time it does. It's a weird balance it rides, and it rides it really well. So yeah, thumbs up.
Leave me alone.
Give me rent.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door!
68 takes us to Russia, Brenton, to Dr. Zhivago, which we both said yes to. And I'm immediately changing it, Brenton. I'm not recommending Dr. Zhivago.
I'm going to change it as well. I'm going to not recommend it. I really fought for this one at the time, and I think it's good. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a really good movie. I just I can't see anyone else really watching it and getting enjoyment out of it, to be perfectly honest. If you're weird like me, maybe you will, but yeah, for me, I don't think I'll ever watch this again. So
it's so weird, just Alec Guinness being like, "Oh, where's Dr. Zhivago?" Like, it's just I can't do it. Like,
what a plot though. This plot is like,
it's Jesus. You can tell they put the whole fucking novel into this movie, and it suffers for it. Like, it's like it is epic, and like there are good parts in it, like we admitted, but it's just such a lug. And honestly, I think looking back on it, it just doesn't stick around.
Nathan, you sound exhausted just from talking about it.
Oh, Brenton, I've been exhausted for years, ever since Russia. Oh no.
Oh dear. Get the jacket on.
Stings, doesn't it?
Episode number 69 was Chinatown, which I said yes to and you said no to. It's one of those ones that I just never understood why you said no to it, because Chinatown is absolutely fantastic. It is such a wonderful piece of filmmaking. And it was actually the reason why I changed Zhivago just then to a no, because I knew Chinatown was coming up and I was like, how can I put them in the same caliber? You know what I mean? Like, Chinatown is just absolutely fantastic. Again, another fantastic performance from Faye Dunaway, who's just killer in this movie.
Oh yeah. Again, she's always good.
She's a hell of an actress. I think she's...
Brenton, here we go. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. I know.
There are no words I need to say.
Even before this episode, I didn't think I was going to give it a thumbs up. But you know what? The more I think about it, I'm like, you know what? Chinatown is a good... I think I've gotten over my anger and bitterness that Chinatown itself is barely in the movie, Brenton.
I love this movie, dude.
Just go in knowing there's barely any Chinatown, but that's okay.
That's okay, because we're in Chinatown.
Protected you in high school, now I'm gonna kick your little ass.
70 is the 10 Commandments, Brenton. Whew, we're in the 70s, and we both like the 10 Commandments, and we're giving it thumbs up. Where do you sit on 10 Commandments right now, Brenton?
I'm keeping it a thumbs up, dude.
Try and convince me why. Oh, I'm still on the fence. Tell me why.
Okay, I've never seen Lawrence of Arabia, Nate.
And I have.
I'm gonna say, so this is the thing. I think this is the difference between us. So I think this film is capturing what probably that film I understand captures in such an epic scale at a time.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I was so taken back by this film. Again, I love the story of Exodus.
Oh, jeez.
And there's so many points of this that I just really got amongst. Yes, it's from a time gone by. The performances are really classical in the sense of like they're so over the top. They're so big. But at the same time, there was enough humanity into them that I could latch on to what was going on, and I was just really kind of taken by this movie, and I remember viewing it and liking it.
Nope, no for me. Sorry.
Oh. Look at little Goblin Jr.
For fuck's sake,
I think you're going to
guys.
do all the Bonds this episode. This is great.
Episode number 71 was The World Is Not Enough, and no, it was not enough because we both said no to it.
It's no good. This is the one with Robbie Coltrane, which is, you know, that's always a little bright star in it.
Yep, and the saw, you know what I mean?
Oh
Drop
my
the saw
God.
down and...
Actually, maybe I should give this a thumbs up just for the saw alone. Just so
Oh, fuck off. No way.
No, this is not a good movie.
Again, what else do I need to say?
Judi Dench is in prison at one point.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but like, you know, you all like to me, the Pierce Brosnan ones. And I was like, all right,
so
Nathan,
sorry.
let's watch a Pierce Brosnan one. And then, fuck, man, you just let me down. This was my biggest disappointment probably on the show was this movie. And I still haven't gotten over it.
I would say this movie is Pierce Brosnan's worst work, but it isn't because obviously we know the answer to that is Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia is fun in its own way.
Excuse me?
This is the guy that gave the key to the city to?
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
The King of Comedy is episode 72, and we both said yes to it. God, The King of Comedy's fucking excellent, isn't it?
It's fucking... You know what? It might be my favorite Scorsese film.
You know what? I think it might actually do that too. I think it might actually overtake Raging Bull.
Really? For you?
I think
Wow.
so. I actually think
That's
so.
a big-
that's
that's a big statement, man.
thing. The more I think about it, this film is outstanding. Like one of the best films I think I've seen ever.
Same here. It's gone up. It's in that caliber of Network of It's a Wonderful Life for me. It's one of my favorites.
It's genius. I think it is actual genius. And also, after seeing it like right before Joker as well, geez, it makes Joker pale compared to this masterpiece.
I agree. It does. The things that Joker does, King of Comedy does so much better.
Robert De Niro, he should be doing more work like this.
Yeah, definitely.
Hire
Even
him
today.
now.
He's actually a good guy.
You're trash, Brock. Excuse me?
Episode number 73 was Lord of the Flies, and we both said no to it. Rightly so. What the fuck?
Oh my God.
like
Jeez.
this is. I
think this is the film that started the special segment of which child performance do we find the most annoying.
I think it was too. Look. It's a good story. At the end of the day, this is a really good story. But just read the fucking book. You know what I mean? Like, don't watch this. Or maybe there'll be a remake of it one day that does it justice. But at the end of the day, like, we don't need it.
It baffles me actually how much they fucked this up. Like, it's like just every single element of it I just loathe. And I
like the main kid. The main kid was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just that, you know. If you taste one bad apple, you know, you just throw away the whole bunch, frankly. Like, you can't trust it.
How was the piggy kid in this one? I remember he was so annoying. But so was the evil kid, the one that was always like, Meh. Like, that was his voice.
That was the whole movie just then, listeners.
You want forgiveness? Get religion.
Episode number 74 was A Few Good Men, which I convinced you to give a yes to, so we both gave a yes to it.
Yeah, you bullied me into it.
This is one of my favorite court dramas, I think. I love A Few Good Men. I think it's got some real highlights. I like Tom Cruise in this movie as well. I kind of like what this movie's about as well. And I think it's well made, and I think obviously it's a great screenplay from the great Sorkin as well. So, thumbs up for me. I think it's definitely, without a doubt, worth a watch. What do you think, Nathan?
Brenton, I'm changing my mind. I'm giving this a thumbs down.
Why? I don't understand you.
I
Why?
finally got the restraining order so Brenton can stop bullying me into saying yes to this. So, which has made it so much more awkward to do the podcast.
Genuinely, why?
It's just, I don't think about it, Brenton. And not just for that reason alone. Like, it's got the famous court scene, which again, you can see, I think, without context on YouTube and you'll get it. Like, I don't think it's going in the places I wanted it to go. Maybe that's like a really subjective thing.
I would argue that this film is more than just the court scene. Watch it.
This could be dangerous. Peter, you didn't keep any, did you?
Which leads us into 75 Road Games, Quentin Tarantino's favorite Australian film.
Fuck you, Tarantino. Why'd you make us watch this fucking fuck this? Like,
okay, Brenton hates. We both said no, and Brenton hates this a lot more than I do.
I don't hate it. I just think it was a waste of a fucking episode, to be honest. That's why it pissed me off. It was like, we just sat there and talked about this movie that I just had nothing to say.
Oh, I mean, we did fill that episode, and there are some good clips, listeners. Give 75 a listen.
I was just like, don't watch it. That's basically what I say. Don't
do
it.
The end. I don't know. It's got Jamie Lee Curtis at one point. God, this is such a weird movie. Remember that woman who tries to jump off a cliff and he saves her, but then she blames him?
Totally.
Oh, it's so weird. Don't watch it. I don't know what Tarantino's on. Oh, the boat getting destroyed in the motorway. That's a good scene, though.
Is it?
I think it is.
You got any with nuts?
I have some nuts. I could make some.
Go make me some.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Here we go.
76 was Tremors, which I gave a yes to and Nathan gave a no to, and then you upheld that opinion. Nathan, do you have something to announce?
This is a yes movie. This is easily a yes movie.
Yes. This is such a great...
This is
such
amazing.
a fun time. This is not a great movie.
No.
This is not a great film. This is a great movie that you can have so much fun with and sit around with some mates and have just a blast of a time. It's a monster movie from the 80s with a ridiculous performance from Kevin Bacon, but you still kind of like these characters as stupid and
for
as
some
silly
reason
as they
children
are.
like playing on roads with pogo sticks. Like that's the way that they spend their time.
Oh mate, this is such a blast. Like get amongst it. Get amongst those creature effects. Get amongst this action. It is ridiculous. It is stupid. It is funny. And it is wild.
It's the perfect film to watch with a bunch of mates in a few beers. Like,
oh mate. Oh, let's watch it after the episode. Let's invite some peeps over.
Right now.
I'll pay you the usual rate.
If you want the shots, I'll take the staff job. Double the money.
And we did a double bill in 76 because we did Tremors and then Twister, Brenton. Oh,
yeah,
God.
Which really put things into perspective because Twister sucks.
It's weirdly dramatic as well.
Oh,
like for a tornado movie, they're going for such this weird like divorce drama amongst these tornadoes. Like I don't understand it.
Do you remember like the technology in this movie? Like how the whole thing is like they're trying to like scan the tornado or something.
You know what I remember most in this movie? It's Philip Seymour Hoffman, Brenton. Him and his weird ass performance.
It's like he knew that this film was tanking, and he was like,
he knew.
At least I'm having fun."
He had a blast that movie, and rightfully so, because everyone's so serious and like no one's cracking anything, and then he's just like, "Woo, tornadoes." What a good time.
It just sucked. This movie's nothing.
It is literally nothing, and the cow scene, the famous cow scene, is not worth it.
No, it's not. I remember those trailers for this movie, and it didn't live up to it.
Now dig on this.
What the fuck is wrong with me? Episode number 77 was Wild Wild West, and I said no to it, and then you said yes to it. But then, thankfully, I changed my mind, and we both gave it a yes, because this movie...
Oh my goodness.
Dude, can I just ask you a quick question? Are you glad that I suggested this as a classic movie banter viewing?
This is literally the best thing you have ever done in your life. Is suggesting we watch the movie Wild Wild West for the podcast.
I literally peaked.
I'm not even joking when I say this. Out of all 100 episodes, out of all 100 movies, this is the greatest film on our list.
Really?
This is better than The King of Comedy. This is better than Raging Bull. This is a masterful magnum opus piece of art, Brenton.
Damn, you're really making the big statements this episode, aren't you?
It's iconic. I think about it every day. I think about it in my most intimate moments, Brenton. I'm thinking about it right now.
Whoa. Episode 78 was Big, which I said yes to and you said no to, and then we kept those same opinions, dude. Like I love.
You know what? I'm changing it. I'm changing it.
Dude,
I'm saying yes to Big.
It's a good time.
It's
like
a great time.
And again, it's one of those movies that are bigger.
He did it.
That is bigger. That is bigger than the famous moment in it. You know what I mean? Like the famous scene is obviously that piano scene, which is whimsical. It's lovely. It's beautiful, and but it lives up to that. The movie's more than that. It earns its stripes, and Tom Hanks is just incredible in this movie. I love that he brings the depth that he does to this role.
Oh.
Even though it's just seen as something that's like would just be seen as like some stupid little fluff, this movie, he makes it into something more. So yeah, I love Big. It's definitely worth a watch.
I agree. Like honestly, if you want actually, well, I'm not going to say. Actually, I'm going to say that on air. If you want to see Tom Hanks pretend to be a child and then have sex with a grown woman, this is the film for you.
Well, he actually said it, guys.
My name's the human spider.
I don't care. Get out there.
No, he got my name wrong.
Get out there, you moron.
Dirty Harry, 79.
Hey!
He's dirty and he's Harry. We both said yes to this. This is really good, Brenton. I think this is a good movie.
This is really good, I think. This is a good movie. Nathan, why is it a good movie?
Because Clint Eastwood, he just gives zero fucks this movie. He's just chopping up shop.
He certainly does. He certainly does.
It's great.
Yeah, no, this is a great movie.
It is really good.
It earns its stripes as a classic. I like a lot of the scenes in this movie, actually, in retrospect.
Clint Eastwood kind of talks a guy out of suicide by just kind of encouraging him to do suicide. And that's great.
Yeah, he's just like the worst, this character.
He's so bad.
Yeah, but he's still kind of the best in a way.
Also, this movie, out of all 100, I think, has the best title talk because the premise of the film is people trying to work out why it's called Dirty Harry. So I applaud the movie on that.
Congratulations, Dirty Harry. You win the title talk award.
Have a bath, for God's sake.
God, you stink, dude.
It's Spider-Man!
Dude, I'm so happy that I get to talk about episode 81, which was a double bill where we talked about Star Wars. And I said yes and you said no. What the fuck, dude? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, Mark?
You know what? You know what, Brenton? I'm going to change it. I know why I said no. I know why I said no. But in our modern world, I can't imagine one where you haven't seen Star Wars.
Nathan, I love you. You're the best.
Thank you.
Mate,
Brenton, I still have the restraining order. You can't kiss me yet.
Okay. So Star Wars has like one of like the most perfect scenes ever in it, I think. It is one of my personal favorites.
Harrison Ford getting a medal.
Yeah. And Chewie not getting one yet.
Thanks, JJ.
Fuck the Rise of Skywalker. Fuck.
Here we go again. Let's do a tangent in the last 5 seconds. Here we go. Rise of Skywalker.
Fuck that.
Who are you?
So we also talked about in 81, The Empire Strikes Back. We both said yes to this. I think it's still like one of the best Star Wars, and
it is the best Star Wars. What are you talking about? It is definitively the best Star Wars.
In my
film.
opinion, Last Jedi is, but that's a whole other.
Well, no, fuck that, because Rise of Skywalker kind of ruins The Last Jedi anyway. Like any inkling of that had been the best Star Wars film, the next film kind of fucked it up. But that's okay because
we have Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, this will always have it, and it's just. Oh man, I said that The Godfather Part 2 is one of the best sequels ever made. This, without a doubt, is also in that caliber. Man, this just takes it to a new level. It takes it to a deeper level. The issues you kind of have with the first film, this one kind of addresses, and it makes it something more than its parts, and I think more than what you probably thought it could be. So, love this movie.
Yeah, if you want to see people get killed over a Skype conversation, then this is the movie for you.
What a power. What a fucking badass Vader is. Holy shit.
Work from home.
Are you in or are you out?
We followed this episode up with another double bill in which we reviewed the fucking, what do you call it? Return of the Jedi.
Thank you.
Which we both gave yes to. It has some of Nathan's favorite scenes from Star Wars in this movie.
And yours too. We share that love.
Oh no, I agree. It has like, the climax of this film is fucking awesome. Oh, it's so good.
It is so good. I'm also forgiving on the Ewok stuff. Like I'm not as harsh on them as others are.
See, I'm not as forgiving.
Okay.
Fuck the Ewoks, but at the same time they're kind of ingrained in the Star Wars experience at the same time. So like I understand.
I still say with this movie you could have cut out all the Jabba stuff at the start and this movie would still make sense.
Oh no, like there is some good stuff with the Jabba stuff that I personally kind of enjoy. And it's not Slave Leia. Don't get any ideas. That's what I'm not referencing. I'm not being a pervert. Come on, stop it, guys.
I mean, now that you've mentioned it, Brenton, it's kind of weird you brought that action figure today.
Oh, Nathan, it's R2-D2. Don't get any ideas.
It's you who's out, Gobby. Out of your mind.
Oh, jeez. And we also talked about The Phantom Menace. We talked about 1999 Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. We both said no, and we kept it the same, Brenton. Because this is not a good movie.
I'm not keeping it the same because I can't in good conscience. I love this movie, dude. Like, I know it's terrible. I know it's bad, but it's me, it's the kid in me that has to give it a yes. I'm really sorry. It's the worst, it's without a doubt the worst decision I've made on the podcast, but I have to change it. It just makes me sad to say no to it. So I'm saying yes to The Phantom Menace. I know it has issues, and I know that some of them are really offensive.
It's an insult to cinema, frankly, and I can't imagine it like being any better than what it is. You'd have to do a complete rewrite. Like there's just too many issues.
I'm so sorry, dude, but yeah, I'm gonna say yes, and
Brenton.
I know that undermines any credibility I have on this show, and you should probably fire me from classic movie banter, but I just really like it.
Can Spider-Man come out to play?
Episode 83 was another double bill, good lord, and we did Home Alone 1 for Christmas, which we both said yes to. And yeah, man, I'm keeping that. That's a classic, the Christmas classic, and I can understand why people love it. It's not my personal Christmas classic, it's not something I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this every year.
We'll get to that this Christmas, won't we, Brenton?
Yeah, we certainly will. But I think it's a good movie, and I think I can understand why people love it, so, because I kind of like it too.
Yeah, I mean, I dislike the movie somewhat because you see Macaulay Culkin just like berate this poor innocent old man who's his neighbor. You know, my heart breaks just thinking about him. But aside from that, you know, also, actually, no, my heart breaks for a lot of these characters. Joe Pesci, Jesus, the torture he goes through.
Yeah, our hearts break for Joe Pesci, but Joe Pesci's head actually breaks in this movie, so...
Oh, jeez. Now, that's what I call suffering for art. Like, on that alone, you just... This movie does it correctly, Brenton. This, I think, has the correct amount of violence. Unlike another movie that we might just bring up next.
Guys, the double bill also included Home Alone 2, which we both said no to, and I'm going to stick with that, because you don't need to watch this movie.
Yeah.
You don't need to do it to yourself.
Now, before we even talk a little bit more about Home Alone 2, listeners, now, I was meant to introduce Home Alone 2, and I think Brenton just swooped on in there to introduce Home Alone 2 because he's seeing what the next movie is. So I just wanted to point that out, listeners, that I think Brenton's cutting corners.
Hey, hang on a second here. What are you talking about, Nathan?
We'll talk about the Bond episode next, and we're going to point some fingers. But Home Alone 2, what a tragic mess, and not just because it has Trump. Like, just the violence alone, like it's horrendous. I feel bad watching it. I'm like, what a loss.
It's just that we didn't really need it, to be honest.
No. But Tim Curry's pretty great in it,
like
isn't
the fact that this happens again to the same kid is just bad parenting. Like, you could say it's bad parenting in the first film, but this is just like, this kid should be in a foster home. He should be taken off those parents. Like,
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
Oh, you're gonna make me do it. All right,
Yeah.
Episode 84
Yeah.
was Goldfinger, which we both said yes to, and we upheld those opinions. And Nathan,
Don't you dare.
guess what?
What?
No, I'm gonna keep the yes.
Yeah!
I think this is good. I think this is worth a watch. I was watching clips from it the other day. No, Bond, I expect you to die. It's so good. Like,
it's iconic.
It's so good.
It's
you
so
know
good.
what? This is just a good movie. It had great scenes, a great premise, and Sean Connery, man, he's great as Bond as well.
Oh, he's so good. I mean, this is regularly cited as one of the best ones.
Yeah, totally. And the climax is great. The climax itself is great as well. Like, where this goes, it's a blast, man. Like, it's worth a watch, guys. So yeah, I think this is one of the good Bonds. One of the watchable Bonds, I will say.
Yeah, Odd Job. What a sweetheart. Now that's...
Oh,
there's our true love. I mean, we love you too, Jaws, but...
Love you, Mr. Jobs. You're great.
Don't tell Harry.
Which brings us on to 86, Dr. Dolittle, Brenton. No.
We both said no to this. Yeah, and I got to stick with it. It was no.
No.
Never.
No. It's just, what a mess of a movie. Like, it's funny that, like, this movie exists, and
yeah, it's like chuckle inducing is what I'd say. It's not necessarily funny. It's just kind of like the moments you laugh at it, you're not really meant to laugh at it. Like, such as that that chick that's always like is allergic to like the seafood or whatever, like the shellfish, and she just keeps eating it. This fucking idiot, and rocking up to the doctor's office like with a bloated face, and you're just like, dude, like, look after yourself. Look after yourself, listeners.
Who wrote this movie? Oh, like, I mean, it's probably an easy answer to find, but like, it's just a mess, Brenton. You know, I just want Eddie Murphy just to clean up his room and just fix it.
So do I. I also like I like that vet though. That vet that like thinks he understands what the animals need. That was good.
Not good enough.
Right up in the crotch a little bit too.
Oh, for fuck's sake. We're talking about episode 87, which is This is Spinal Tap, which you said yes to for some reason, and I said no to.
I found it funny.
I just don't like this movie. It's all right, but it's like, it's not even all right. It's not even a good mockumentary. Like, I get it started it. That's fine, but...
Look, we changed it to no. We said no.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
you did too. Oh, you smart boy. Oh,
do I get a
you're
treat?
The best. You're the best podcasting partner ever.
Oh boy, maybe I can sleep without the chains tonight.
That's what you think.
Oh no.
Yeah, see, this is more entertaining than This is Spinal Tap. That's the whole point. Is what I'm trying to make here.
Yeah, I mean, I did like it at the time, but the more I think about it, the more disposable it is. You know.
Yeah, I don't need to watch that shit again. Fuck that. It's not shit, but it's not great.
There's some good jokes, but honestly, just YouTube them.
It's a nut for me, yeah.
But you know what is instead?
Oh, what is that?
I think it's episode 88, Brenton, where for my birthday we reviewed The Emperor's New Groove.
Good choice, buddy. Good choice.
Just this is the definition of a good time, Brenton.
I love this movie, dude, and it's so sad that at the time it just wasn't that well, received or...
But it makes me feel like this is our little secret, Brenton, that we have The Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah. Dude, it's such a good movie. Guys, watch it. Give it the love. Get on that Disney Plus subscription and just watch it.
Exclusively watch The Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah, dude. And then watch what is it? What's the show called? The Emperor's New School?
Oh, The Emperor's New School. It's not that good, Brenton. Don't watch The Emperor's New School.
Oh, isn't it? Okay, well, I won't then. Actually, no, I will. Fuck you.
Oh, wow. All right, I guess I can't tell them what to do anymore.
I just kind of want to watch it because I remember watching it and thinking it wasn't that bad.
Oh, I did a rewatch recently and I'm like, this shit doesn't hold up.
Really? Does it have the same voice cast? I can't remember.
Most of them, yes.
Wow, that's so cool.
Has literally everyone, including John Goodman, except for David Spade.
It's crazy.
Punch me, I bleed.
Episode 89, we did The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and we both gave it a yes. Dude, this movie is great. I was talking about it the other day to someone.
Me?
It's such a good movie. Yeah, but someone else. And me and this other person were just having the best time.
Wow.
Saying,
Why don't you do a podcast with this other person, Brenton, then?
Well, I do. You guys should listen in.
Oh no, not that rival podcast, Masick Doovie Lanta.
That was a good joke. That's why I made another podcast.
Wow, I feel really cut from that.
That was awful. I'm so sorry, but I'm
just gonna cry now, listeners. Happy 2 years.
Can we agree that Adventures Priscilla, Queen of the Desert is a really good film?
It's amazing. What more needs to be said? Just watch it. It's so good.
Terrence Stamp. Oh man, what a performance.
Guy Pearce. What a performance.
Hugo Weaving. What a performance.
I wanted to impress Mary Jane.
From the highs of the highs, Brenton, to the lows of the lows. 90 was Withering Heights.
I said yes, dude.
You did, man. Fuck that. Please tell me you're changing it.
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
I still kind of like it.
Oh, Brenton, come on. Put the dog down. It's had its last gasp. It's no good.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna say yes.
Brenton, this is animal cruelty, frankly, if you keep this up.
No, I'm going to.
Oh, this is the worst romance movie. Laurence Olivier, what are you doing?
I tell you what he's gonna do. He wants her to haunt him for the rest of his days.
Oh my goodness. Don't watch this as a couple. Don't watch this if you're single. Just don't watch this.
Actually, watch this as a couple and let me know what it did. You know what I mean? I just want to hear if it was a good night or if it was not a good night. Just let us know.
I want Spider-Man!
Episode 91 was Barty Fink. Oh,
yeah, there he is. Good old Barty.
There's Barty. Dude, this is a great movie. This is such a good movie. It really is. Love it.
It's really, really good. We're getting now where these episodes are now a little bit more fresh than the other ones. So it hasn't had enough time to sewer, but Bun's just so genius.
I think this is one of the greatest strengths of this movie is that it goes places that you never think it's gonna go.
It's a good film. Yeah. Oh boy, it's got a lot of surprises.
Even if it didn't go to those places, you're like, oh, this is a really solid movie, and then you go, oh gosh. Oh, we're going there. And,
whoa.
You do.
We do indeed. And yeah, it's a fun time. John Goodman does probably a career best performance in this.
Career best? Whoa, that guy's done a lot of performances.
Name a better John Goodman film.
The Emperor's New Groove.
Actually, yes, I beg your pardon. That is his magnum opus. Forgive me, Brenton.
Another win in the bag for Brenton. Yeah.
You have a train to catch.
Motherfucker. 92 was Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. What a mixed bag of a movie, because you said yes and I said no.
Turn the knob. Yeah, like I'm gonna keep my yes because there's enough in it that I can understand. Look, I can understand
Brenton,
the no.
the children are infuriating.
Exclusively because of the children. But I'm gonna say yes because there's enough heart and there's enough great moments in this that I think pull through. Angela Lansbury, you know, what a sweetheart. Love Angela Lansbury. I just think she's always fantastic, and she's great in this movie.
She's better in The Court Jester.
She's good in The Court Jester, actually.
She is good in The Court Jester.
But yeah, look in this, the kids are the biggest letdown for sure.
It's just like it's like they wanted to make Mary Poppins again, but then just all the happiness just got sucked out. A Dementor was on set, Brenton.
Nathan, those things at the end, those ghost nights at the end are kind of like Dementors when you think about it.
Wait a minute. JK made this, didn't she?
Surprise.
Episode 94 was The Hunt for Red October, which we both said no to. And I'm going to keep that because, I remember Sean Connery and the Russians, and I remember Alec Baldwin. Like, I remember quite a bit about it.
You sound like you're reciting a dream. It's like, Sean Connery was there, and there was some Russians. We were in a submarine. It was very weird.
I could probably say yes to this and justify it, but I'm going to say no and justify it instead. Yeah, look, it's all right. It's fine, but nothing to ride home about or ride to Russia
I don't know why,
so,
but out of everything in this movie, the thing that stands out for me was the still that we chose.
That guy that's like, ooh.
It's just like frozen. Like, I don't know. I know why.
Check out the Instagram if you want to see that still.
Yeah, great moment in the middle of this ep. Let's just do an Insta plug while we're here, you know? Check out the...
You know me. Plugging away. Plugging the bathtub.
Ooh.
Shut it down, Ark.
95, An American in Paris.
Yeet.
Oh, no. Retract that yeet, Brenton. Neat is what I say.
Yeet.
He's doubling down because he gave this fucker off a yes. And I said no, and I stand by it.
Dude, this is a great movie.
Oh, it's broken, Brenton. You are only remembering the best parts, right? Like Gene Kelly dancing about.
Oh, yeah, that. But I also like the movie itself. I think it's fun. I think it's worth a watch.
What does it do for you, Brenton?
It does everything.
Wow. It does I just can't take this shit seriously. I don't know. Especially I just hate Gene Kelly in this. Actually, I don't know. That's a lie. I don't hate Gene Kelly in this. I hate what his character is in this.
You take that back, you son of a bitch.
No, I could never be angry at Gene Kelly.
No, neither could I. What an amazing man.
He's here with us now, Brenton. Quick, look behind you. There he goes.
You can hear him going.
This is really heavy.
Guys, we're losing our minds here.
Oh
we're up to episode 96.
We're so close,
which was
Brenton.
on the waterfront. Oh, dude, which we both said yes to because it's a great movie.
It is a good movie, yeah. Again, the longer we leave this episode, the distance, grows, the less I think about it.
Yeah, but I think about this a fair bit. I think it's I really like it. I think it's a good movie. I think it's got I think Marlon Brando's obviously fantastic in it. I think all the supporting cast are great. I love the relationship and the chemistry between him and the lead actress in this movie. I think they're both outstanding. I like what this movie is about. I like where we go. I like the climax that I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought it was going to have like a sad ending at a certain point. I was like, this isn't going to work out well. And
but then it goes somewhere
it
different.
is. It's a mixed bag of an ending, actually. It goes somewhere different, and I appreciate it for that.
I mean, if you're a big fan of pigeons, then maybe this isn't the movie for you.
A couple minutes ago wouldn't have been so bad either.
Brenton, I've landed on doing a Bond episode. You've been spared at the last moment because we're at 97. We reviewed Octopussy, where you said no and I said yes.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my no.
Oh, I can understand it. I think by this point, I think we've gone through enough Bonds where I get what you're saying. But I think this is fun.
In saying that, there were moments in this that I could finally laugh at the Bond franchise, such as the use of clowns.
Oh, it's great. It's so good. Yeah, the clowns alone are just worth the price. And also just like, the fact they go to India, he's in a crocodile at one point. Oh, the actual octopus in this movie is so funny.
Oh, that's true. I like the alligator, the crocodile.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that the climax is in a circus. That's cool.
That's cool, but not enough to win him over.
But overall, not memorable enough. There's a lot of filler.
Hang on! To what?
98. Richie Rich.
He's rich.
Which we both gave a yes to, and then we both changed it to a no, because Richie Rich ain't so rich in quality content, you know what I mean?
Whoa, he got him.
Look, it's a fun time. It's good. It provides some good nostalgia of being a kid and being like, I wish I had that house. But when you grow up, you're like, man, if I had a fucking McDonald's in my house, I'd be obese. And no one wants that. My arteries don't want that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the world building aside, I just think the movie's just it's got too many issues, Brenton.
What are those issues?
Just the image it's trying to say about, the rich class and all that kind of stuff. Like what they're trying, like what it's trying to say about money. I think it's just disgusting, actually. Now I think about it. Frankly.
Holy crap. Yeah, I think like technically the movie's got more issues, but Nathan's gone straight for the themes, guys.
It's disgusting, man.
Always a pleasure to have our board of directors pay us a little visit.
99. We finally did it, Brenton. Oh, we reviewed a movie that I've wanted to do for a long time. To Kill a Mockingbird. We said yes.
Absolutely. Rightly so, we said yes, because it's a good movie.
It's a great movie, mate. I mean, it's not very novel of us to say To Kill a Mockingbird is great. Like, we're not exactly cracking new ground.
Yeah. Well, you hadn't read the book, you hadn't seen the play.
No. I'm halfway through the book now.
Oh, do you like it?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
The book's really, really good. Like I said, I'm going to read it. So, yeah, and the prose is gorgeous. They did a good job translating it, I think.
Yeah, Gregory Peck's really good in this movie too.
Oh, he's so good. Even the dog with rabies does a great performance.
Does it? I don't know about that.
It's jumping about.
How it kept returning to that shot of it like jumping about on the street. Like, look, Dad, look what's happening. And he's like, well, that dog's got problems, but I'm not sure what they are.
Back to formula.
Episode number 100, baby.
100
was Rocky 5, which we both said no to.
Yeah. Can you blame us, Brenton? You're not changing it, are you?
It's such a shame, dude. Like, that means that I've changed like all of my reviews to yes. So we're all yes for all the Rockies except this one.
Yeah, and like it just stumbles and falls and just cracks his head open at a picket spine, you know? Like
whoa, that's violent. But yes, continue.
Like he's just bleeding out on the ground and his son's walking up. He's going, Dad.
I really didn't like the last scene of this movie. Like the final fight on the street brawl was just kinda crap.
What does he say? He's like, get him, Dad. He took my room, or whatever the line is.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Oh, man. What a time.
Like, I think Rocky has stupid moments in this franchise, but God, this entire movie is stupid.
If they brought the robot back, it might have got a few brownie points.
Oh, beat up the robot. That'd be fun.
But it did bring the jacket back, to be fair.
Well done.
Wow. Great reflexes.
101. We moronically didn't review 101 Dalmatians. Instead...
Why the fuck didn't we do that?
I don't know why.
Yeah.
But instead, we reviewed another excellent movie, Cabaret.
Cabaret.
Ooh.
Life is a cabaret, oh chum. Yeah, it's good.
It is a good time. Like, yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a lot more intelligent than I thought it was going to be as well. It's not just like, woohoo, we're getting freaky at a cabaret. It's like, man, life's pretty shit in Berlin when World War II is about to start, isn't it?
I like your like initial impression of what you thought the film was going to be as to what it actually was. You were in a dirty cabaret. Yeah, dude, I love this. I love this story. I like this movie. I think it's really good, and I probably like the stage show more if I'm being honest. But I think this is good as a film.
Yeah, I think it's a fun time, you know.
I wouldn't call it fun, but continue.
I mean, we have different definitions of fun, but you know, English lessons, what a joy.
Go Webb!
102 was Double Indemnity, which we both said yes to because it's a damn good movie.
Isn't it though? It hasn't grown on me that much since we watched it. It was only 2 weeks ago, so it's 3 weeks ago rather. So it's still fresh. I don't know, give it more time, but I think it's still good.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I like. It's probably the best I've seen in its genre, which I understand
because it invented the genre.
Yeah, well, like it's kind of like defining a genre, so to speak. Yeah, for me, like, because I've never been really taken by that genre either. So
instead, it was Liam Neeson.
But props to this, and yeah, I think it's really solid. I like the performances. I like the story. I like where we go. Yeah. It was a good time. It was a good episode too. We had fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. Forget the movie, just recording. Like, oh, what a joy, Brenton.
That's what we live for.
Yeah, but now that I've said that, I'm going to invoke the clause, Brenton. The double indemnity. Here we go!
Fly!
Which takes us on to 103, our Mother's Day episode, Brenton. Dirty, rotten scoundrels. We both said yes. And I actually texted Mum before this episode and I asked her, and she's keeping her yes too, Brenton.
Fantastic. You know what? I respect your mother for that opinion. And I respect you as well because we all agreed that this is a great, fun time.
It is a fun time, isn't it?
Yeah, dude, like, this is a fun movie. Like, this is like, you know, there are some issues in it, but like, I think the fun of this film and the performances, the comedy itself just kind of overrides those issues.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, it's an old kind of style of comedy you don't really see these days anymore. So like, I think it feels fresh actually because of it.
Totally. I'm a huge fan of Steve Martin, by the way. So
oh yeah,
any film with him, I'm just like, oh, Stevie, there he is.
Cheaper by the dozen. Double it.
I respect that.
Which brings us to our final episode, which was a double bill. So we've got 2 more movies to talk about.
Here
the
we
first
go.
one was, this was 104, by the way, which was Mission Impossible 1, which I said yes to and you said no to. I stand by my yes. I think that this has some incredible sequences, and I like the story. I like the movie in general. I had lots of fun with it. I liked basically all the characters, and I think it's a good time, you know? Like, it was a good introduction to this franchise. I'd only seen the last film of the franchise at that point, so I was happy I watched it, yeah.
Brenton, you know what? Even after a week, I'm going to do some radical things on this episode, Brenton.
What are you doing?
I'm going to say yes to Mission Impossible 1.
Oh, dude, I'm so glad. Yay.
And you know what? Because the more I think about it, I'm going to say yes to Mission Impossible 1 and do something similar in a few seconds, because I think this franchise, you got to see all of it to understand the full scope of it.
Whoa.
I started this company. You know how much I sacrificed?
Which leads us into the last movie, Brenton. Mission Impossible 2. You said yes, I said no. And you know what? I'm changing it to a yes.
And you know what? I'm changing mine to a no.
What? Whoa, we've done the double switcheroo for the last movie.
Whoa, what a time.
But my argument for a Brenton is that I think you got to see all of it. I think you just got to go along. It's like the Fast and Furious movies. You just got to go along for the ride and accept there's going to be some shit. But it's just such a fun time, Brenton.
Well, I agree that it's a fun time, but it's not a good movie.
No, it really isn't. It's quite horrendous. But I think it's worth a watch. I which completely contradicts what I said last week and all the arguments I made. But fuck it. It's fun.
That's basically it. That just summed up the show just then. Fuck it.
You're not wrong, actually. That's
what a way to round out 100 reviews, Nathan.
There we go.
Fuck it, guys.
We did it.
Just fuck it.
Out am I?
Guys, that was all those, a revisit to all those episodes.
There we
what
go.
A time. What a time we've had on this show so far.
What a highlights reel, Brenton. I don't know about you, mate. I'm exhausted.
I'm absolutely buggered. That was full on.
Jesus Christ, that was a mission and a half.
Oh.
I reckon we've talked about a lot of movies, Brenton.
Oh, dude, we've talked about so many movies. But you know what? We've talked about those movies, not only all of them today, but we spent 2 years doing it.
I can't believe it's actually been 2 years. It is bonkers, isn't it, when you think about it?
This wouldn't be possible without our wonderful listeners. Thank you guys so much for checking in with us over the past 2 years. Whether you're a new listener, whether today's your first episode.
Your 105th episode.
Your 105th episode.
Where are we? What year is this?
We appreciate you. We love you guys. And thank you for always sticking by with us and interacting with us. We love to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
You are the best, as they say.
It's so cool getting to hear from you, and like also hearing like so many of these episodes have come from you. Like whenever we're chatting and people are like, oh no, you should do this. It's a great thing to explore old movies, and especially, thank God, with this year alone, there's never been a more relevant time to watch old movies and actually
I agree. Yeah.
build up a catalog and actually, have some adventure with it. So yeah, thanks. And thank you for supporting the podcast. Every time you recommend it, it means the world to us. You guys are all so cool. And if you want to support the show, we have an Instagram, we have a Twitter, we got all the social links below, and if just hang out with us. That's all we'd love to do with you.
Yeah, of course. And of course the show is going to keep going. We've got some fun ideas of where we're going to take it. What we're going to do. The Mother's Day episode was really special, and it kind of taught us a lot about having guests on the show. So potentially you guys seem to like that. So we might have a few more friends and other people that we might invite to join this crazy little thing we do.
I think frankly we've just had enough of our own voices, Brenton. We need some other new ones.
Yeah, we need to break it up for sure.
Yeah, Jesus. And speaking of breaking up, I think also I like what we've done here. I think rather than look back every 10 episodes, I think we should just now reserve it for these kind of anniversary things.
Yeah, it gives us a bit more time to sit in, and obviously there was a few more radical changes today, which were fun. So yeah, I like that as well. So sorry to see those go, but I think the show's going to be better off for it.
It's going to be better. We're always trying to improve. And let us know, by the way, if you have suggestions just for the show in general. Like, we always listen. Like, we can only get better, Brenton, frankly.
This is very true. There's no going back.
Now, to celebrate 2 years, Brenton, I have a little surprise for you today.
Oh, no.
I'm very excited about.
Oh, no.
So, while I was editing last week's episode, Mission Impossible listeners, I thought I'd do something fun because it just made me laugh so much. Brenton, can you please pick up your iPhone and can you please send me a text on iMessage?
Send you a text on iMessage?
Yeah.
The Supreme Leader is dead.
Whoa. Is that your message tone?
I changed my message tone. I'll play it again for you listeners in case you didn't hear it. Because I found this shit so funny.
I'll send another message if you like.
So
I'm going to send it again.
The Supreme Leader is dead.
So in last week's episode,
boy.
we had a General Hux tangent, and Brenton did the best impression of Domhnall Gleeson in that movie. And so I thought as a fun little thing now, every time I get a text, it's gonna just go like this.
The Supreme Leader is dead.
Dude, you're the best. That's hilarious. I forgot I did that, to be honest. So there you go. Nathan, what a fun time we have. Like, we've had so many fun moments together over the last couple of years.
Most of them stupid, but that's friendship in a nutshell, It's
Dude, I love you did that. That's crazy. I can't believe you did that. Now you're going to be like on some date. You're going to be out with some mates or whatever. You're going to be, I don't know, you're just going to be living life. And you're going to be with someone one day, and someone's going to message you, and they're going to hear that, and they're just going to go,
what?
What and why?
I'll just be like, I'll be on like a park bench with a girl on a date. We're about to be leaning in for a kiss. It's all moody. And then out of nowhere, the Supreme Leader is dead. Oh, it's great.
I feel like what's bad about it too, it's like I'm encouraging your love for The Last Jedi as well.
Oh.
It's like you found a way.
Yeah, because it's such a good... I love that line. And the way he says it in that movie is so good. Oh, I love it, Brenton. And I love Hux.
Oh, it's true. Good old Donald.
He's the
Donald
spy.
Gleeson. Good on you, mate.
Oh.
Shout out to you. And also shout out to Willem Dafoe, and a shout out to you, Mr. Nathan, for being a fantastic podcast partner. We obviously couldn't do it without you. It's been fantastic the last couple of years, and can't wait to keep going strong with classic movie banter.
Yeah, there we go. So, are we out, Brenton?
We're out for now. Until next week, the Supreme Leader is dead.
Yeah.